Look, Clarence, mate, it doesn't matter how many times we get beat down. What matters is that we get the fuck up, and we keep fucking trying. You're right, Donny. Now, who the fuck are you, mate? I'm Clarence Claymore. Who the fuck are you, mate? I'm Clarence Claymore. Say it with your fucking chest. I'm Clarence Claymore. Show me what you got, mate. Take that. Fucking touch me, cunt. Fuck, mate. We got a lot of work to do.
Now fucking come over here where it's safe. That's it, mate. Come on. I knew that was gonna happen. Clarence, mate, you alright? Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Fuck, get out of there. Fucking hell. Poor cunt. Oh, yeah, Clarence, mate, yeah, should be alright now. Yeah, mate. Jesus. Just hold on. No. Fucking early. Fucking like that scene of War of the Worlds? Have you seen War of the Worlds? Yeah. The lightning's just fucking constantly coming down and fucking hitting. The fucking tripods come out and they fucking start killing everyone.
You're missing a once in a lifetime sighting here. Major lighting concert.
Eh?
You're missing the whole thing, cunt.
You seen the original War of the Worlds?
Yes, mate.
Clarence, I'm fucking sorry, mate. Fuck me, you do. Holy shit. Oh, God. Just hang in there, mate.
It looks like he's still breathing.
Now do the $20 hit, man.
That was all my money.
Holy fuck! Stop yelling at me.
Daddy's got the fucking sugar now.
We're going to take all the breeding age females and bring them to Las Vegas, and I'll distribute them to the men who have changed their names to Corey. No kings, no presidents, no senators, just Corey. I don't need to sleep. I don't use currency. I'm not a part of this time. I used to be 2 Corys, now I'm 1.
Oh.
What are you guys into? What do you do?
We're tight.
Oh, yeah. That's all going away. currency, everything. We're going to flip into a new society.
What do you do?
I'm outside of space and time. Change your name to Corey. After that, you will be executed. If you don't change your name to Corey in 3 months, you're going to be executed.
Hey, do you mind if I play some white noise? It helps me go to sleep.
Yeah, sure, it's cool.
Thank you.
I notice your kids both look retarded. Hey, dude, your kids look like retards. How many freaking shots you give them, you little... And they start freaking out. They go, yeah, I bet your kid was pretty smart, so you gave him all those shots. But you worship and start crying. I go, good, good. A couple other guys go, hey, buddy, I'll beat your asses, too. Because I'm not gonna kiss your asses anymore, you little scumbags.
I'm not gay, but I want gay guys to be obsessed with me. When they see my beach body, gay guys are gonna be like, oh my God, who's he? I'd be like, sorry, fellas, not gay. But thanks for the attention.
Nigga, if you ran it up once, nigga, you could do it again. And again. And again. You understand me?
The more retarded you are, the more money you're gonna make. This, for example, gold, silver, NASDAQ, S&P 500, crypto. It's all disgusting. It's all painted red. What would the retard do? The retard looks at this and goes, throw it all in. All the chips, throw the house at it. This is the perfect opportunity. The investors sitting there, they're like, no, maybe we should keep our hands off. The market kind of looks a little shaky. Fuck you, dude. Checkmate. End of 2026. Who made more money? The retard or the investor that played it safe? The retard wins every time. Every single fucking time.
The only thing that I've seen from you that has not, really panned out is the old Bitcoin statement.
I still don't believe in Bitcoin, but as Jamie Dimon said a couple years, not just to me, to the shareholders, if my customers want me to make a market in I'll make a market in If you think it's going to replace the dollar as the main currency, if you think it's going to be like the national bank, that's just not going to happen.
But it's happening.
No, well, no, it's not. So it has $2 trillion in value, whatever the value is. But if you think that the Ford Foundation, the Rocket Foundation, the Federal Bank Reserve,
they're all buying it.
They're 1%.
Well, why would they want any if it's going to be valueless?
Because it's an embarrassment clause. Just in case it goes to $1 trillion, they participated. It's just so they're not totally embarrassed.
I knew a motherfucker who was so ass at trading that this nigga became good at trading from literally doing the opposite of what the fuck he was gonna do, gang. That's how shitty that nigga was at trading. That every decision that nigga made, the stock literally did the opposite every single time. And so what this nigga started to do was literally, instead of him going with his first thought, he would do the opposite of what his first thought was, and that nigga would hit every time, gang. That's how that nigga became profitable, bro. I swear to God, bro. Think about it, gang. So that nigga literally became profitable from sucking ass at trading. Bro, I swear to God, bro, I'm not trolling, gang. I'm dead ass, bro. That nigga just had the worst luck in the market, bro. So what he started to do was, if his first thought was calls, that nigga would play a put and hit on that bitch, bro. That nigga ran it up off that shit, bro. I swear to God, to this day. To this day, bro, that nigga is a beast at trading from sucking ass, bro.
Damn, Ron, come on! What's the matter with you? There is no tomorrow! There is no tomorrow! There is no tomorrow!
Broski, the market is so red, I thought my MacBook was bleeding. This is the end, cuz. Yesterday I was a millionaire, today I'm a slumdog. This is not a dip, this is a black hole.
Imbeciles, they have no idea. This is not a black hole, this is the beginning of a big bang.
Why is Broski not panicking with us? Yeah, why is he so unfazed? Have you checked your wallet, cuz? The crypto is down 85%. Allow him, Broski, he's still in denial. Is it down by 85%? Or is it 85% off? Oh shit! No, gang, not the hustler mindset. Not the hustler mindset. Bro said it's not a crash, it's a discount. Circumstances, but you can change your mentality. Remember, brothers, the market sends his toughest battles to his most financially literate soldiers. When the Nasdaq falls, will you give up Or remember that no amount of setbacks defeat a qualified mind. You see a dip and start to sell, but I remember that sudden emotions lack logic. Down isn't permanent. So I invest more into the S&P because I was born to struggle and persist.
Nah, Mendem, how does he do
This guy knows something. Broski, was you in the board meeting with Donald Trump? So tell me, brothers, when the crops go dry, will you sell your land or sow more seeds, knowing that the harvest will always return?
He's really got that hustler mindset. Bro's got that JP Morgan mentality. That's that quarter-zip discipline, cuz. Yeah, gang. Rare few individuals that make it out, cuz. This guy's one of them.
Nobody knows about that fucking degenerate life when you're fucking down 40,000 and you battle the fuck back. You say, you know what? You know what? I'm a fucking strong, independent man. And you're not gonna tell me I should go to bed. I'm gonna battle the fuck back. And I'm gonna fucking get my money back. And guess what? I got my motherfucking money back. That's right.
Asset. Well, Bitcoin is the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay. But take all your money, buy Bitcoin, then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin, then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business, it's in your family for 37 years, and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth.
And we're live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Did you bet on the Seahawks? If you did, you made money.
Yay.
Yay, Patriots. GG right again.
Yeah, no, shout out to GG. Absolutely. I mean, it didn't take a genius to pick the Seahawks, but, you know, betting it right along with the game definitely is a skill that he has. So it was good to see that in person earlier this week, too, with like pretty much any sport. I think now I've seen GG win at and like pretty high ticket sports betting. The first game, I think the first time I ever saw him won was Korean baseball, actually Korean and Japanese baseball. Yeah. He won like 30K on that. And then after that, I think it was what was the next one? I think that, well, just earlier basketball and hockey and then football now. So what? I haven't seen him do baseball yet, but American baseball, but that's right around the corner. So
right.
And
the only thing we haven't done yet is WNBA stuff like that. I've tried to convince.
Yeah. I mean, you're betting on what do you call it? The ball bouncing around the rim a million times before it goes in, you know, so you don't, it's like more like pinball.
I mean, you know how you have to the bet in the casino and stuff to like make all the numbers before they like on the craps table, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine it's like can you imagine how much it would pay? Like it'd be like 20,000 to 1 if there's ever a slam dunk. I bet at every game event one day will hit.
Yeah. There's a couple tall ones in there, but there's been these videos of these guys who are like 5'9" basketball players playing like 6'6" or 6'5" like WNBA players and like smoking them.
I'm not shocked. I mean, they said like probably the WNBA can get cooked by the best high school boys team.
Yeah, like a large state like California, New York, or Texas. Maybe not Texas, but somewhere with like probably Florida, somewhere with like a large population, right? Any of those state basketball teams, absolutely. Even, maybe not Wyoming, but
right,
that would be an interesting one.
Trying to mattress Mac this shit. And I like what he does though. He does like really cool stuff with the money. Basically, he makes like a bet, and then he counter bets himself. And if the counter bet hits, you know, he pays for all this kind of philanthropy he does and stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah, I guess I probably should have tweeted this out when I thought about it earlier today. But now you just reminded me there was a tweet that I saw. It was like some guy if the Seahawks win, stands to win like 3 million. If the Patriots win, he wins like 4.5. I was gonna retweet it and be like, "GG, is this you?"
That's a bet. That's a bet.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But, yeah, no, hedging is important, right?
Oh no, definitely important and stuff like that. Like I was getting tempted, but you know why I didn't bet? I was gonna make some fun bets on the Patriots for fun because it was so ridiculous. But the moment I heard Drake was betting on the Patriots, I knew. I literally stopped. Like, I'm not even going. I'm just not even going. Saved myself a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I think the bets that would have been kind of crazy or interesting are like how many field goals their kicker made and how many sacks the Seahawks got. So if you bet on like Seahawks dominance, but in like, I guess maybe categories you wouldn't usually bet on, because I think there was one player, or I don't know if it was one player, it's probably the team had like 7 sacks on Drake May, I think, maybe more. And then the kicker had 5 field goals, which was the most by a kicker ever in Super Bowl history. So if you were to bet like he's kicked 4 field goals or more, it's probably available somewhere, right? Like that probably would have hit.
Drake's an inverse Kramer. I mean, literally, like he's literally a Kramer in terms of like, if he told me up was up, I'd believe it's down. Like that's how crazy it is, dude. I mean, like he loses 9 out of 10 bets, public big bets every time. I've seen him win 1 or 2 over like.
I was gonna say, well, he's a fan of the Toronto Raptors, so what do you fucking expect?
Soon the American Raptors, Charlie.
Oh yeah, 51st Raptors.
55, the 51st.
We should change it from a dinosaur to like the Raptor jet, the fighter jet.
Oh, that actually would be kind of sick, man.
That'd be sick, right?
Yeah, F-22, man, that'd be sick. Drake. But anyway, post Super Bowl game, man. So that's why we started a little bit late. Not the most exciting game, if I'm going to be completely honest.
No, it was kind of. I mean, the game wasn't trash. It was just defense only, practically. Like there was almost like no offense for the most part. No good offense.
Yeah, I mean, it was so bad for the Patriots. They're like number 0 is the only reason they're even in the game right now. Like because he stopped a couple interceptions and he stopped a couple passes that would have just like it would have been over. It would have been like a complete like destruction, basically.
Yeah, because I think there was one play that he stopped where it was like the guy, if the guy would have caught the ball, he would have taken it to the house. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, I think Drake, the stat that was interesting was Drake May was the youngest quarterback to play in the Super Bowl since Dan Marino. And Dan Marino, right, was one of the best NFL quarterbacks ever to never win a Super Bowl. I'm like, don't get the Dan Marino curse on this guy, because Vrabel's a really good coach, and I think he was kind of shortchanged in Tennessee. I mentioned it, a few times or whatever throughout the season, and I think they'll be back there again at some point, just because he's a very, very good coach, especially on defense. I mean, defense wins championships, right? So it's the same thing with crypto. Risk management wins championships. Who would have thought?
Definitely. I would say, Drake is very wealthy, of course, but he's actually one of the first big influencers. At least let's just say in the rap game, he jumped on the sports betting, and not just sports betting. He jumped on the online gambling trend
because he's getting paid by a few,
Stake,
right?
I think Stake, right?
Yeah,
Stake. Stupid money, like $100 million contracts.
How much did BitBoy get to like tattoo Stake on his chest or whatever?
It must have been, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know his contract, but I would imagine, like he'd at least be getting $500,000 or $1.5 million, $2 million, because they pay fucking no name streamers like millions, $3 million.
What if he got the tattoo of Stake, bought the things that basically got taken away from him, including the Lambo and stuff, and then just like has a tattoo for nothing now? I'm just like, brah, oof.
You want to know something weird, right? So I'm always looking up the new up and coming crop of like a Goyslop. No, but the up and coming sort of like stroll. Like, okay, there's like natural influencers and there's influencers that are pushed. We have this every cycle, right? It isn't like a Kobe's been around a long time, but even Kobe's got connects. But like, you like the guy, right? You like.
And he was the king of crypto Twitter in 2017. Like it was Kobe, and then you could probably name like 5 to 10 other people. BitLord was one of them at the time.
Yeah.
Besides like, and I'm just talking about pure like crypto Twitter guys, not like, they didn't do any projects like Kobe. What do you call it? Swing did into a project for himself, which, hats off to that.
He did Lido and stuff with one of the largest investors in Solana, basically, which is pretty good. So it's not very often that you get some of these crypto guys coming at the red pill space very often.
There's somebody coming at them or at us. I'm like at them, at us. I'm like at we. Like
it's weird because usually, we're the red pill of crypto, right? But we're from the red pill. We do crypto content, obviously. Yeah. But it is very strange when usually maybe they touch on a topic, have a really blue pill take, and I'm like, whatever. Everyone has topic, right? But I don't usually see crypto like I call them sort of like propped up sort of like crypto people attacking Myron Gaines multiple times.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Like not really tagging him either, like a bitch. But like,
oh yeah, he's just talking shit on the internet without like saying like, hey,
yeah,
direct, yeah.
So
a lot of people do that.
Yeah, it's very strange. So like, I mean, here I'll just post it basically.
And we will get into cycle low stuff. I think that should be pretty exciting going into the next crypto mindset course. Just FYI for people. BTFD, things are looking good. Right? I think, well, what was it on Friday? The fear greed index broke, bro. Like it just broke. It got to 6. I think it's only been at that level one other time and it's since 2018, since it was created. And it's pretty accurate for lows. So I'm like literally on the rebound that Bitcoin had this weekend or whatever. People were still like overly fearful, more fearful than when we were dropping.
Right.
I'm like, that's irrational fear. It's a good time to buy, kids.
So this guy called Razmir or whatever, he said the average illegal immigrant is 1,000 times better than Myron Gaines. So I just perked my ears up. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Who's the average? Oh, God. What the fuck is that shit? Oh, and he doesn't even know that Myron Gaines used to work for the DEA.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Like, I mean, people just like make assumptions on people, right? But like, hey.
Yeah, and then he's like, people early life checks out. I'm Lebanese, and let's see what the hell the rest of this says. My parents have an American passport. Okay, there's someone talking in a different. I don't know how to type that way. Your location says Netherlands. Stop being a bitch. That's kind of funny. Generally, I want to know in your mind. Anyway, I mean, obviously, I hope he's rage baiting, but then he starts doing weird shit like this. Like,
well, to be honest, like guys like this, what's his follower count?
He just like 100,000 and some change and stuff. But then he's doing this shit. He's a clavicular. He's like showing his. I don't know what the hell this shit is. He's like he's showing off his chest after he shaved or whatever, which I find very strange. Yeah, I didn't think he's a bad guy. I've seen some takes have been okay. Other ones I'm like whatever.
I've never seen this guy before.
Yeah, this is one of the up. He's basically one of these guys that was on what do you call all right, pump.fun influencers. So like how there was Thread guy and there's this guy. There's like this weird like, oh, how these guys get contracts? Weird. Like that sort of, and like they're getting like literally on pump.fun's like own website, they were getting like 7 viewers. And I think this guy is actually one of the one thing he did that was cool was like he managed to get a stream with Clavicular somehow, basically. And that's kind of like the whole little thing here and stuff like that. But it's just like, it's like it's very inorganic, basically, is what I'm trying. Oh my god, he keeps doing that. What the fuck? Then he keeps attacking. He just keeps attacking Myron. He's like, I'm not even clicking on this shit. Myron Gaines' newest attack in Super Bowl is pathetic. Like, well, yeah, I'm Hispanic, I'm Mexican, I'm Latino. I can tell you that shit was like not it, dogs.
Oh,
but
no.
Does Bad Bunny have some good songs? Yes, like of course. Like Bad Bunny's music, in terms of like where would I enjoy it? I would enjoy it if I was drunk in a club and we're just like da 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 dee beep happy. Hey, I mean the whole music is like literally it's almost like mumble rap Mexican, like Spanish, basically. Like
yeah,
and like it's I mean it's not terrible. Like those songs, like the hit songs are not terrible, but like it's not something that I go out of my way to listen, right? But yeah, it's correct. Like we should have gone with an American act in English because the entire people, almost everyone who watches American football speaks in English. I can understand it. I have no problem with the song, but like also like when more people are pissed off about it, it was like the whole show was almost all in Spanish. His actual like halftime show, and the other half he literally he dresses like a woman on a bunch of videos and just acts as really trans and gay and shit, which before he really didn't do that. And then now he's like full blown like faggot town.
It's kind of like that. What's that guy named Little Nas or something like that? The guy that did the Country Road song.
That one went to the crazy level.
Dude, that guy went like I was like, oh, that's a good song. Like that's cool. Like it's good collab with I forgot Billy Ray Cyrus, right? And I'm like, oh, it's kind of a good song. Next song, I'm like, okay. And then like third song, dude's like dropping soap in fucking prison showers. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then fourth song, he's fucking getting diddled
Railed
down
by
by
the
devil, bro. Like I'm like, what the fuck is
And then
wrong
he
with you?
fell the fuck off. That one was so blatant. He fell off completely.
Yeah, I was just like, it's just like, what in the actual fuck? But
Yeah. Oh yeah, selling shoes with blood. I don't know if that was him though. Was that him? I thought that was like
could have
I
been.
thought that was another rapper who did that. But
yeah,
it
but
just,
I think they get, they try to. It's like a bait and catch. It's like, hey, get people interested in this guy, and then really gay him up over time.
Right.
But I didn't watch the halftime show part of it, except for the very, very end. But like, I guess there were bets on whether he would show his nipple like Janet Jackson. Nipplegate. No.
Yeah. Well, since I mentioned clavicular, he got arrested over the last day.
What he?
I mean, the dude's like live streaming himself like with people in the background doing drugs. The main problem with him is he's not 21 and he's going to places drinking when he's not 21. He's 20. He got arrested for having a fake ID. He got arrested for allegedly, I think, having bags of coke and Adderall and non-prescription shit. And he's hanging out with a bunch of ASU dudes and stuff like that. And of course,
dude, ASU is where, because I went to my first year of university in NAU, Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff. Every time we'd go down to ASU, it'd be like, okay, get your fucking what do you call it, bong drinking, or not bong, what do you call it, keg drinking skills up. I'm like, don't drink out of bongs, no. No, but the keg drinking skills, because shit, people down, it's like Alcoholics Anonymous University is pretty much what any Arizona university is in Phoenix. They drink like fish down there. So
yeah, it's a party school. I mean, you go there because you know what you're getting into. I mean, that's what you're doing. It's a party school. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, doing that every weekend, if you're at that school, bro, that's something else.
I think the only thing clavicular is, obviously he's successful. He's blowing up right now, but he's literally mugshotting him right now. But I think he's streaming a tad too much and not resting. I'm not saying don't stream 8 hours. Stream your 8 hours if you have to stream or whatever. But I think he should stream just a tiny bit, maybe take 4 hours less on stream, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's he's making himself a target. He's also imagine you stream all day and you're out walking somewhere. It's you're making yourself a target. Something's bad's going to happen. Basically.
And yeah, usually those things, somebody always rocks up weird. And these days,
burning out right now.
Yeah. But these days with social media, you never know either. Right? There was that one guy in Vegas, they had that beef. And one guy went to prison for life. The other guy and his wife got murdered. The fuck?
No named rappers beef. No name.
Yeah, it was the most retarded beef I've ever seen in my life. It's just worthless. And yeah.
Yeah, it's one guy was a rapper, the other guy was a YouTube, a small reaction channel, and he just said "fuck you," and it was fucking stupidness all over. Basically. Yeah, not great, but yeah, Clav's burning. To me, it looks like Clav's kind of burning out. And then people are also, because of course, looks maxers are fucking black pilled Zoomer cunts, basically. They're worser than crabs in a bucket. Basically, now that he's risen above, they're like, how can we claw this motherfucker back down? Now they're saying now he's starting to de looks max. He's starting because he's getting tired. And his skin's starting to look like shit now. Well, because he's drinking, he's partying, not sleeping, and then working all fucking day. Welcome to the real world, right? Even if you're 19 or 20, it's still I would be cooked. I remember I would go out, I'd work all day, do it 2 days in a row, and then literally I couldn't go out the third day, or unless it was something crazy, I would just pass out all night. As soon as I get home from work, knock out, wake up at 7 a.m. the next day. I'm like, damn, dude, I slept 14 hours. Holy shit. But you can do that and just recover, and it doesn't mean you're not tired. But eventually, that's why all the people I knew from high school who did that kind of party lifestyle, by 25, they looked terrible. They looked worse than most 35-year-olds, 30-year-olds.
Yeah, it does age people. Yeah.
Because it's you ever seen that thing where they're still kind of skinny, but somehow their face is fat? It's very it's almost like they haven't.
I haven't seen too many people like that, but
I've seen it. It's like from all the heavy drinking in the late nights. They have these huge, like they're 25. They have huge bags on their eyes. They somehow they're fat. Their face looks unhealthy as fuck and aged, but they're still kind of skinny and they're not fat. It's very weird. It's almost like they've given themselves like some form of like permanent alcohol poisoning. It's very strange. It's very strange. Very strange. Like people in the chat probably know what I'm talking about. You guys are probably and you notice it, but then you stop noticing it because you stop hanging. You don't see these people as you grow from your early 20s. Disappear from your life.
Yeah, hopefully, right? Like if they don't, that's a problem. But yeah, I mean, because 25 and still in college, drinking like a fish. Like, hey, bro, get your life together.
Yeah, I mean, you can still have a drink here too. I mean, like, there's a guy shout out to Kino Body, but like, he was getting shit on Twitter for this, and he's right. He's like, honestly, there's nothing wrong with having 2 drinks. I mean, if you're shit, you can have 2 drinks, and maybe that's not the worst thing in the world. But like, people like make it out to be some crazy thing. The thing is like, there's just so many people that can't control themselves with alcohol. They're just so terrible. It's like nothing's wrong with like having a social lubricant of like 2 drinks to have some fun and stuff like that, and you're fine, it's okay. But like that's like, so they're like this hardcore men, like, no, everything has to be perfect. And then if everything has to be perfect, guess what? You're gonna break your routine. Almost no one stays perfect. No one stays perfect.
And if he's adding drugs into the mix, bro, like, oh my God, like, let's just like, it's like if he's going like, okay, he's like going, all right, a little bit off the rails, and it's like, it's like fucking right into the goddamn ditch,
Ladies, liquor, and leverage, and lawyers. That's right. 4 L's. Yeah, Kino Buddy's legit. I've told you guys, like, I mean, he was the first guy to popularize in the modern era. I'm not saying he invented fucking starving yourself and fucking, intermittent fasting, but he was like the first big influencer on the podcast game that talked about fasting. And like, or I would say like millennial, let's just like first millennial guy in fitness to talk about it, basically, and popularized it. He had a podcast back in the day called Road to Ripped. Him and another friend of his and stuff. They did a show. Their whole shit was basically talking about fasting. I learned fasting from him before Dr. Rhonda Patrick or before fucking Joe Rogan or for any of these fucking carnivore faggots or fucking like keto dudes. Like it was like him, Gregor Gallagher, and like, the Kino Body guys, Road to Rip podcast from back in the day. I think it was like 2011, maybe 2010 times and stuff. And they were talking about it. And then by like 2014, 15, that's when like it just went mainstream in terms of like all the podcasts, all the shows are talking about fasting, basically, which is just like, I'm not going to eat until lunchtime. And then like, oh, look, my dad's already doing that already. He's there having a coffee. I love how like, no matter what, the coffee's always cool. Yeah, but you can solve the coffee though. Yeah. We need the coffee in the morning. Oh, you still do the Greek god workout? Oh, that's old school, dog. That's funny.
Have you seen Gainsey's take recently on Zoomers?
I have it. Yeah. I saved it. I haven't showed it yet, but yeah.
That one's funny as hell, bro.
All right, let's play. Shout out to Gainsey. Like, so
like, like I respect that he's able to, like, what do you call it? Preface it slightly by saying like, hey, the Zoomer like meta or like the main, generalization of your generation. So he's not like individually saying all Zoomers suck. It's like, okay, like at least he took that tact versus like, most of the boomers and Xers when millennials were that age, he mostly just said, oh, all millennials fucking suck, So I guess like he made it at least a distinction there.
Yeah, because I felt like he was lying even a little bit, just because like I know we had some of that lefty woke shit in our generation too. Like we did have
yeah. Like I would say, I mean, every generation's had it, right? The boomers had the hippies. The Gen Xers,
you're right.
Had the fake grunge people.
What do we call them? Alt left, or what do we call those guys? They're like alternative.
Yeah, I mean, you can just say far left, far right, because like it's always the extremes, right? That mess it up for everybody else.
Yeah, but
check out. They always have some other weird, like, there's like, some pie chart where they have like 20 different political names for things. I'm just like, whatever. It's either center, left, or right, or extreme.
But lastly, on the fitness thing, the reason he came on my purview again, he's been tweeting about Bitcoin. He's like, if you can't stomach a fucking loss, don't fucking buy it and shit. You deserve poverty. He's been like going hard for like Bitcoiners. He's like, this is incredible. If you don't have much money, DCA over time. Like, like literally, I was like, fucking sage. I mean, incredible at same shit we're saying. So he's you know, he's doing like I think he's doing a great thing, and this guy is fucking very wealthy man, very wealthy man. So.
Yeah, I was just saying, why had crypto? Like both of our lighting systems right now are off. Like basically, mine's dark, his is light. Like we gotta balance it out here, but you know, it is what it is.
I'm trying to blacken myself up as much as I can right now. It's not helping. I don't know what to do. I'm drinking food coloring.
When was, like we haven't streamed from home, like I don't think all year, right?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah, we've just been in the studio. We were going to, but we were like, we have to drive to the studio. When the fuck is this stream going to start?
Yeah, exactly. After the suit, we had to wait till the Super Bowl finished. So yeah. Anywho.
All right. Bam.
Zoomers are like maximum retarded. I mean, I'm being objective here. You guys are the most cursed generation of fucking retards that I have ever had the mispleasure of having to like interact with. I don't mean all of you. I mean, plenty of you are fine. But the Zoomer hive mind, your hive mind, is stupid as fuck. Zoomers are the ones, you guys came up with 150 genders. You guys came up with being woke. All that happened under you guys. You guys were cool with it. You guys are like taking Epstein and turning Epstein into a joke. It's not supposed to be a joke. It's supposed to be fucking serious. You're not supposed to like, the hive mind is not supposed to accept Epstein and Epstein jokes and all of this shit. They're supposed to denounce. They're supposed to ask to see, every associate in jail. And now it's like, if you weren't on the Epstein list, you weren't cool. What the fuck? If you were on the list.
The fuck?
I want to take one little part of this, what he's talking about right here. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's not showing both of us for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Okay, there you go. You go. So I want to take apart one little thing he said here. He's absolutely right. Is like, this is what it is wrong. Like this Epstein shit is terrible. And it's gone to they're so doomer, then they doom around so much. Then they just make jokes about we make memes about. I think most things should be made fun of, but it's like it's being, the memeing is now being used against them now to basically you're like, it wasn't that bad in the island, or like you weren't cool enough to get to the island, Charlie, so that's why you weren't invited. Like this guy wanted to go to the island, he just wasn't cool enough. Not cool enough. School of Rock or whatever, right? I wasn't cool enough, but it's a psyop. You know what they're doing in Mexico right now? Like all right. So I did that whole thing about like the Mexican presidents, like in a country of 99% Catholics, she's Jewish, right? And then first thing she did is like she shook hands with Larry Fink from BlackRock, right? So I'm like, who's in control really of the country, right? Well, now the Mexican Zoomer internet psyop, CIA co-op, is basically putting her body on like almost like 30-year-old kind of like single mom bodies, and just basically like they're putting her face, kind of making her like sexualizing her, making her hot in a weird way to indoctrinate the Mexican Zoomer youth to liking her. And it's working. Because it's working, dude. It's going mega viral. It's going, I can't, like all over my Instagram, like nonstop. She's showing up in like, like fucking fat ass and this, but it's like an older Latina body. It's very weird. It's almost like MILF. They're milfing her. It's crazy. No, look,
she finds the right surgeon there. She gets a little bit of a boob job, ass job, and then boom, popularity what do you call it, gets reelected.
Right. So look, I'll literally post it right here. I mean, just so you know, like I don't lie about this shit at all. I was so shocked. First, I saw the first one. I fucking laughed. I was like, "That's hilarious." But then I kept
in the chat says Pixar, it didn't happen.
Pixar, it didn't happen. No, because sometimes I give guys like kind of like, "Oh yeah, right, Miguel, bro," with your like, and then like shout out to Oz or some of the other guys or Kyle posts the evidence on our reels or shorts, and they're like, "Oh shit, it was real." So they're sexualizing her in joking form and stuff to make it a meme. And it's a way to accept her. So you're like, well, I mean, this is what it is. Like, and so now it's like they're making her a part of the joke, right? So now, like, but instead of like, fuck her, we should overthrow her and get rid of her. Now she's like, let's laugh. Now you don't care about she's in power now.
Mm-hmm.
It's intelligent. This is CI level psyop going on right now. And
when everybody's distracted about the next thing, like they just have to get you to care about it for 2 seconds and then forget about it.
Exactly, right? So like here it is right here. Like so like this. So they're putting up like this, that's her face, and they're putting like an older body, kind of looks like her and shit, and they're like putting a fat ass on her and shit like this, and like chains, bro. Like it's fucking ridiculous. And like people are fucking losing their mind. Like, let me just mute this Mexican music. Like, just so you know, I'm not lying about this shit. Like this is the CIA. This is the Zoomers working in the CIA. I'm telling you, there is Zoomers and there's millennials in the CIA. This is what they're doing to countries right now.
As soon as you turn 18, baby.
Media. I'm telling you.
As soon as you turn 18, the government goes and gets your ass. But hey,
yeah, for people who don't, this is the Mexican president. This is the female president of Mexico. And that's what they're, so her face, that's actually her face, but like, this is what they're doing now. And like, it's ingenious. I'm clapping. I'm golf clapping at this. This is ingenious, but like, I'm old enough now and like know the game a little bit to know that what they're doing.
Yeah.
This is like an absolute psyop.
The question I have is how many countries does BlackRock have in their portfolio? That'd be interesting though, because they got more money than probably the majority of most countries.
Oh. They tried to do this with Kamala, but she's kept saying so much stupid shit, it just wouldn't work.
Yeah,
I noticed it for a little bit. They're doing it like they're making her sexualizing her, putting her hands and knees like stuff, and like please.
Well, it backfired at her because that's actually how she got in office.
Exactly right, because like she didn't get in office. I mean, she was actually
not in that. Yeah, she was elected in office, but when she was a judge, she got she curried favor. Is what they say.
Curry favored.
Maximum.
So let's get back to the video then. Let's go back to this one. Okay, I'll skip a little forward. All right.
Joke. It's not supposed to be a joke. It's supposed to be fucking serious. You're not supposed to like. The hive mind is not supposed to accept Epstein and Epstein jokes and all of this shit. They're supposed to denounce it. They're supposed to ask to see every associate in jail. And now it's like if you weren't on the Epstein list, you weren't cool. What the fuck? If you were on the list, you were a pedophile. What do you mean you weren't cool? Like,
this is the psyop now. You see what I just said, which is true now. Like some people are making the joke, the most pathetic, but there's actually people in the emails that were like essentially begging to go, and like we're getting left on red. Like, hey, yeah, I'm available. I'm over here in St. Kitts, or I'm down here in Puerto Rico right now. I'm ready. Whenever you are, let me know. Like, and they're just being left on red. Supposedly, Jason was like one of these people that are being left on red.
Oh, the Calcanis guy, the All In podcast guy.
He may have went. Lucky Palmer just said, if he didn't go, sue me then. Sue me for defamation. And of course they don't want to, because then who wants all their private messages to get looked in, by lawyers. I mean, it's just fucking annoying. And no one arrested yet on the Epstein list. That's correct. Supposedly Elon wanted to go too, but it was like crazy. But like, I find it funny that all the people on the Epstein list and where of course the most busiest people aren't on the list. I mean, like they're like Mr. McMahon is not on the list.
Charlie Sheen not on the list.
Charlie Sheen on the list and stuff. Mel Gibson not on the list. Shout out to my boy. But watch, he's on the other half.
What about Danny Glover? What about Danny Glover? Come on,
Danny Glover, bro.
Well, you gotta have I forgot their character names. But
Dave Chappelle would be the craziest one to me. That one would shock me.
That would be shocking because of how much he's kind of tried to play up that he's resisting the system.
Remember he said that joke. At some point, I'll be compromised, you guys. Just I'll make a joke, and then you'll know not to believe a single thing I fucking say ever again.
Ralphie in the chat says Charlie Sheen made his own list.
So I saw someone say Mr. McMahon had his own island. Because the whole thing with Mr. McMahon allegedly was like, I mean, he essentially was like, he was gay and he's just banging a bunch of the people there for favors, and then they were like, your career would go depending on how much Mr. McMahon liked you, which is true in a non-gay sense and a gay sense as well, which is crazy. That's why they say Shawn Michaels was like, he can do whatever he wants basically.
What the actual fuck is going on? And then I look at Zoomers in general and I realize you guys are actually all really fucking stupid. I'm being objective here, and I'll show you the metrics, objectively speaking, of Zoomers. You guys are fucking stupid. Under Zoomers, look what fucking happened. Antidepressant usage up. Why? Because you're all sad. Lifespan down. So you're now both sad and you're unhealthy. And while you're being sad and you're being unhealthy, and at the same time, you have like the best video games, the best AI, the best medical like advances, and still you live less, you're more unhappy, and wait for it, IQ's down. You guys are fucking stupider than millennials. How did you achieve that? How did you actually progress backwards? And by the way, they're labeling all of this progressivism. What are your 150 genders? They're progressive. What is your woke mind shit? That's progressive. What is your whole like pitch of being liberal? Oh, you're progressive. You have like, you know, invaders in your nation. They're illegally, and you can't get them out because it's not progressive. If you don't, you know, if you kick out the people there illegally, and why are people, you know, like, why is it even a thing? You guys realize that illegals exist in every single country in the world, right? People are illegally in every single country, but why is the only thing in America? Guess what? America is the only place where they actually cause trouble. They don't cause trouble anywhere else. They're fucking happy.
Nah, that's a lie. Illegals don't cause trouble anywhere in any place. What the fuck? Like,
It causes trouble everywhere to some extent if you want to look at it a certain way.
right. Ask all of Europe, dog. I mean, like, look at France, dude. Go to Paris, dog. Oui.
Yeah. Well, I think like you want to look at a country that does it fairly, right? And like if you look at Japan, I know a lot of people kind of might get triggered by like the new prime minister or whatever.
She's awesome.
Yeah, no, she's great. Like I mean, there's some things probably that like I don't know about her that like or whatever, you know, but who cares, right? At the end of the day, I think like I don't know if it's a population of all Japan or just of Tokyo, but let's assume it's at least of just Tokyo, which is the largest metropolitan area in the world. I think it's what, like 40 couple million or something like that. But anyways, 2% of the population there is foreigner. 1.5% of that 2% is Chinese, and then that means 0.5%, you know, is not Japanese or Chinese, and that's like American, you know, Nigerian, whatever, you know. If you look at Japanese people and kind of like how they treat immigration, like if you've ever been to like a Japanese restaurant, like in Japan, like rules are rules. Like it's like, hey, I'd like a whiskey soda, and they're like, what do you speak of, sir? And you're like, you got whiskey, you got soda, right? Mix them together, and they're like, it's not on the menu. Sorry, I can't do that. Dave.
That's what you meant. Okay,
that type of shit. Obviously, that's an extreme example. They don't do
no a la carte, basically.
Right, exactly. It's just like them's the rules, boy. And so, like, of course, if you're like a really crazy gaijin, you know, which is their slang word for foreigners, if you're like a really crazy one, of course, you're gonna get treated really poorly. Like their justice system is not meant for your rights. I'll tell you that much. But like outside of that, because that's obviously like a overreaching, but outside of that, like they're pretty fair when it comes to immigration and stuff like that. And of course, you know, there's going to be people who, you know, break the rules. And if they break the rules, they say like, sorry, leave our country, you know, for a few years. And hey, if you abide by the rules, you can come back. You know, if not, you know, whatever. And so like, it's just very like cut and dry, black and white. And it's not like we're trying to keep out, you know, the Nigerians, or we're trying to keep out the Indians, or we're trying to keep out whatever. Of course, you know, Japanese people are a homogenous society. They'd rather prefer that, you know, they let like a lot of people in on like the 7-Eleven jobs and stuff like that. And then, you know, it slowly seeps in after that, especially over the last like 10 years. I would say it's changed quite a bit, but just because of the depopulation of Japan and all that stuff. But like, you know, there's nothing to cry about there because it's just like, hey, these are the rules. Whereas in America, I think the problem has been that we didn't respect our own rules for such a long time that when we reinforce them, it basically goes overreaching to the other extreme because, you know, you get some people who played by the rules the whole time, have their green card and still, you know, get infringed upon and stuff like that, which of course that's not correct either. So there's like a lot of nuance to it, but in America, we don't have that conversation because I think a lot of people go into the victim mentality too quick. And, you know, also, hey, we're a melting pot. We're supposed to, you know, accept everybody. It's like, yeah, but within the rules. So that way we don't have domestic terrorism, you know, and that type of shit. Right?
I can sort of understand some of the people my age and younger because like I was shilled that shit, the melting pot stuff my whole life. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, like,
I got it, but that's what it was. Like,
think about everybody's background in school. Everybody would say, like, in first or second grade, like, you know, what ethnicity are you? You know, if you're European, like, what kind of European? If you're, you know, Latino, what kind of Latino? That kind of thing. And you're supposed to like take that on as like, hey, that's an interesting part of my background, which I think is correct. You know, I don't see it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a great thing about America. But I think
I remember filling those papers out and like looking for a Latino or Hispanic, and I couldn't find it, so I had to put white. I literally was like, well, black doesn't work. Asian, I was like, Asian, no. Black, no. Pacific Islander, no. I hate the water. I was like, all right, well,
we got away with Filipino. No.
I don't think that was. Well, I think Filipinos had to put like some weird like.
Oh yeah, I'm just
Asian shit.
Totally
it's other, yeah. And I was like, I put dragon. I can that's across your face, bitch.
Right, but yeah, I mean, it's like that's a great thing about America. It is a melting pot. But like, I remember when I was a kid, I'd hear stories like one of my neighbors. Or one of my aunt's neighbors in like a pretty affluent community in Minnesota. He was a neurosurgeon and like had just got his green card after 10 years of living in America. And like that was, you know, a point of pride for him because, you know, he worked so hard for it. Like in Japan, like if you're there consistently working for 7 years plus, like you can start applying for permanent residency. Taxes don't make sense to do it for a lot of people, but what do you call it? After 10 years, you pretty much will be guaranteed to get permanent residency in Japan. So, and that's like a green card essentially. So, yeah, I mean, like if people follow the rules, good things happen. But like, yeah, like I said, like America hasn't really even respected its own rules for quite a while. So, it's kind of hard to reset that.
No, I get it. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, I get. No, I get it. Yeah, I mean, the one cool thing with the whole thing with Japan, I guess, you know, ever since they basically said it's a mulligan to the government, they redid votes, and the main party of like the prime minister just got 75% of control of the country. Like all 75% of all the seats are now in her party.
Ooh.
And the other party, there was like one party. I think I saved it. One party literally went to zero. They lost everything, every seat. Period. It was pretty brutal. Let me see if I can pick it up.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you watch Prince's, the Japan's a very, what would you call it? It's a country where there's a lot of things that happen behind doors. I guess I could say it that way.
Yeah, so the Centrist Reform Alliance center left lost 124 seats. 74% of their seats were lost. Japan's Communist Party, the far left, lost 5 seats. Only 5? 62% of their seats. Oh, so they had almost no seats. Rogawa, Shinzunawi, left. And okay, Charlie.
The Shinsengumi. That's interesting because there was a samurai group called that back in the 1800s. When they were like one of the last resistance to Western shit. Yeah,
they lost all their seats. So most of the left wing is dead, which is pretty crazy and shit. Oh, this guy, he killed there's a reason the communism didn't take root, basically.
Yeah.
But he got, you know, I think he got put in jail and he stayed. I don't think they ever killed him and stuff, but basically he's like, later on he was looked at as a hero. At the time it was bad, but then like, you know, this actually happened quite a lot, like because the system was very rigid back then.
And Japanese people, like if you look at Japanese history, they fight to the end, even within themselves, you know, like they're very competitive.
Now people make like chat edits of this guy and stuff like of killing this guy and stuff. Obviously, I'm not cool for like, you know, you shouldn't kill some innocent guy, but I mean, like, did Japan probably like lead a better path? Yeah, for sure. Like, for fucking sure. But yeah, because he was getting big popularity and he fucking axed him.
Yeah, going tinfoil hat, I feel like the hit on Prime Minister Abe was because he was one of the few politicians there that actually was able to like kind of put the country towards a path of, especially put them towards a path of rearming Japan. And I think they didn't like that.
I know.
A lot of people didn't like that.
Now they can. Now they can. They have so much of a control. Yeah. Doesn't matter. All the parties can vote against the main party. Doesn't matter anymore. They can mulligan the entire constitution and remake it now.
Yeah, and if we go and see what happened with the Ministry of Finance with the documentary "The Princes of the Yen," like they basically removed all checks and balances in there, so they could basically have the central bank do whatever they want. in that country. So, yeah, not good for them. But hey,
yeah, it's. But you know the weird stuff. So obviously, now this is not a psyop, but it's a kind of a weird push. But like, so we just left the World Health Organization, right? And in the last few weeks, there's been nonstop. Like we've just discovered, like there's this Mexican scientist lady. She managed to like get rid of with like 100% accuracy or 100% results on 24 patients HPV, right? Sexually transmitted disease. And then now out of Russia, hey, they managed to get rid of a type of lung cancer now. And then out of like Chile, they just I mean, literally, it's like been nonstop for the past 2-3 days. Hey, we just discovered how to get rid of this. Hey, we just got rid of this. Hey, we just got rid of that. Like, I mean, it's like kind of crazy actually. But they're saying that this is a bit of a lie because like some of these discoveries were actually came out in 2011 or years ago, but they like, yeah, Vietnam cured a type of cancer recently too. Like just a bunch of weird one. Like I forgot what country, like they recently also like got rid of like blood cancer.
Is it like maybe because what do you call it? Human trials finally passed, or is it just like, hey, they're like waiting, they're just reporting it release them all at once?
They're just releasing this all at once. Somebody is like making like this. This is an example, right? So Mexican scientist Eva Ramon successfully eliminated human papilloma virus in 29 patients, basically. But I think some of this originally, I think this happened in 2011 though. So like, but they're like bringing it out as like breaking news. This is happening now, basically, right?
Or news cycle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's happening on purpose, and then like, this one right here was actually, I thought this was pretty cool, but like, there's kind of a thing on it. The scientists who discovered the cure for colorectal cancer and lung mastis, full details, research showed RNL nearly eliminated them. But it's not been tested in humans and is not a cure. But it's just shit like this. But it's all getting blasted out right now for some reason. Right? It's very. I mean, someone's trying to.
Is it mainly on Twitter? Or is it? You think it's a Twitter also?
It's mostly on Twitter. Yeah, it's happening on Twitter. I'm not seeing it on Instagram or anything like that.
I wonder if Elon has like some reason for wanting to push something like that.
And then another one right here. Like South Korean scientists created a life-saving spray to instantly stop bleeding. It's been like nonstop. So people are like, what the fuck is going on right now? There's like nonstop news of all this breakthrough in science and technology in medicine. At first I thought like, oh, that's really cool. Like I just saw that. I didn't know that happened. So I was like, oh, cool. You know, HPV, that's nice. But then I thought, what if finally AI is finally helping the science side? Because that's actually one of the big things is like, you know, but like a lot of these countries are poor. They don't have access to it. I mean, they can maybe use a retarded version of it, but they don't have the high powered one to really get shit done. But like, so I'm thinking it's more for political reasons, but it just keeps like nonstop happening. Like I can pull up another one here. This is the one that happened in Vietnam, which is breaking news. Blood cancer can now be completely treated thanks to Vietnam medical team. And of course, now it's like, this is a form of engagement farming, you know? But it's just like weird. People are like, even I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, it was just news thing after news thing after news thing after news thing. I was like, whoa, what the hell? Eventually AI will be able to help with this, but like, I was just like, it was like very interesting to have like, I honestly, I like this shit happening more than like, because at least it feels like there's hope. There's things happening in the world. It's kind of cool. Yeah. But then
like
people are like,
humans. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Like not regression of intelligence over generations. But the one thing that's interesting, right, about his comments on Zoomers in that regard is if you kind of go back to beginning of the industrial age, depending on how you look at it, Nietzsche, one of the, philosophers and whatever you want to call him, right? German guy. He had a pretty interesting, he had a few books that were basically talking about the Superman, eventually human, because he was basically seeing the beginning of the industrial age, the middle of it. Right. He was like, well, what if I took this to the nth degree? Because humans will take everything to the nth degree. What would that look like? And he is like, eventually humans will get so enveloped with technology, they'll become like a Superman, but then they'll lose all touch with themselves, with the nature of humanity. And then you'll have a portion of society that's stuck in that, which is kind of doomer. And then you have everything that you need, if not more. And then you also have the people who,
Gene
Yeah,
maxing.
but then you'll have the people who go and be like, hey, I need to basically go touch grass, connect back to nature, connect back to, you know, what it means to be human, all that type of thing. And then those people who have that balance will basically, you know, do well, is what he's kind of saying.
I had a dream about a topic like this. Like I had a son that like was like homegrown and another one that was like designer baby.
Designer.
And like I'm like, it was so weird. Like this was like, I had this dream a while ago before I had any kids.
Yeah, one normal, one designer, and then one RoboCop.
Yeah. So I've got a synth, super mutant, and a fucking and a Volt Dreller. Little Fallout reference there. But I did have this like kind of dream, and then I remember it was one of the dreams, you know, like you normally you don't remember dreams. I remembered it, and then I just kept thinking about it. I was like, what if I was in that position where like this, like imagine like this is the son I had before I got on roids, and this one I went after roids, and then like my first son, or like my first son as an example, right? But I don't think this is gonna happen. But my first son's like, damn, I don't know why my younger brother's so much stronger than me. I was like, yeah, I don't know either, dog. I'm like, fuck. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's very weird. Or it's almost the same thing as imagine like, you know, you have all these kids from different women, and then it's just like one mom is just, you know, outright just so much better than the other moms. And then that kid's like your best kid. You know what? That's a fuck situation. I know there's tons of dads that like these are discussions.
Yeah, it's like nurture versus nature.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
And I think, you know, to be honest, Zoomers are an example of the nurture part being extremely different now, because they're kind of the in-between generation, right? They're fully digital because they were born, you know, after the internet and everything. Whereas millennials, right, were half analog, half digital. And so they're fully digital, and they're pretty much kind of getting the shitty parenting from the millennials and the Xers that are like, we don't know how to parent this new, you know, thing, because we've only seen it for the first time in our lives too. And then like, I think finally right now, most of those millennial parents are finally starting to learn like, oh, okay, this is how much screen time kids should have. This is how much they shouldn't have. This is how you know,
even I'm going through that right now. Even that I'm going through it, because I see a lot of parents grandstandings like, wow, I can't believe you let them use tablet like that, or like horse shit like that.
Yeah, they're on one extreme or the other. There's like not a lot of in between, right? It's like they
now,
like some.
I'm a parent now, so I can talk some shit. I'm not gonna say names, but all the parents that ever told me, just because I put a tablet while he's eating, like I got somebody, not a family member, but like a friend of a family, who said some little slick shit to me. Like to me, like I got him watching a tablet thing so he can learn his colors and stuff. He's like, you know, you should really limit his screen time. I was like, bitch. Like, but then I looked at their kid, and their kid's retarded. So I mean, well, okay, then let's go with Libby. Calm it down.
So it's like, okay, we're on recording on YouTube here.
Calm it down. You know, you shouldn't cast stones in a glass house. That's all I'll say. Okay, nature versus nurture. But anyway, this will be fun when I got a group of kids and I can just talk shit about people's kids, bro. I can't wait, bro. Because I was like, well, like it's sort of like Leandro Ball. Say what you want about Leandro Ball, bro, but like he made a little dynasty, and he made his son like very successful.
Oh,
like
yeah, he gave him a chance. It's the same with Deion Sanders, right? Like he gives his kids a better chance. LeBron tried to do it, failed, right? But like, so I mean, if you have some lukewarm success with that, like I get it. But I mean,
I can tell you why they choose the pretty woman instead of like if they're an athlete and they want this fucking special kid. I mean, I'm not saying fuck a WNBA player, but like it's sort of like choose a super athletic woman.
Oh yeah,
and like they're choose. I mean, obviously, like we all choose for beauty, we do.
Yeah, I would say like well, that's it, especially if you're going into like basketball or something, right? But I would say like shout out to Tiger Woods' dad, because whatever formula he did was like pretty much A grade. I mean, like because there's one of these real like SNL usually has terrible skits, especially these days. But like they had one with Tiger Woods back in the day, and like there was one interview of his dad and one interview of Tiger Woods. And then he was just like, yeah, Tiger, ever since he was like big enough to walk, like he was just like loving that golf club. He would never let it go. He's like, yeah. But I was like, 3 years old. My dad would like duct tape the club to my hands, and like I just never let it go. But like, then he just kept going on that. I was like, oh man, priceless.
Yeah. And Like Tiger's son's actually very good. Very good. His son's
I
very
think,
good.
to be honest, of all the parenting of sports players, I would say he's probably had the best balance. Like, because he gives him a shot enough to be really good at his sport, but at the same time, he's not like, okay, my dad pushed me a little bit too crazy, right? Like,
right.
But he did make number one. And Charlie Woods is only getting so far, but he's good.
No, definitely. I mean, but I think there is something to that because it's like, it's like super tall basketball guy, and then he gets with the fucking, a lot of these basketball players get with like 5'2" girls, and then like a lot of times the kid ends up still being a decent height, so they can get, but they're just not as good because the mom's genetics were shit. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, like you're basically gambling on like, okay, you mix the genetics, right, 50-50, right? Well, even the dead genetics are strong, right? It's like,
so what
it
you're telling me
goes
is avoid the Appalachians, avoid Northern England.
wait, I'm lost now. Wait, Appalachian. Wait. What are we?
I'm just thinking about all the places where inbreeding goes on.
Oh, stupid.
Avoid those types of places for sure.
Oh my god, dude. But it's true. I mean, like, they're like, let's be honest. It's like if the sports side is like the biggest thing in the world for you, I mean, it's just like you got to take a hit for the team if you want, or if not, like I totally understand when guys like, I don't want my kids to do what I do. I totally understand that because it's insane. It's like this only applies to like physical stuff. Like, but I guess even in the mental side, imagine your dad's Albert Einstein. Fuck, how you even gonna like? I mean, like
even Albert Einstein said he's like, bro, only portion of this is intelligence. A lot of this is just skill. Like so he worked hard at it. Like he didn't just he utilized his intelligence. As there's a difference with that too.
No, definitely, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And there's some things like some people are like, you're not just, there's like, how you can't teach the eye sometimes, or like,
yes,
there's a lot to that.
A lot. Yeah. And that's the other thing. Sometimes, like families this is the interesting thing about rich families, right? They'll create their wealth or dynasty on a certain thing. And it's like, none of the kids have any interest in that. Yeah. And it's like, but if you can, like, this is the thing that I've always thought is funny about rich families, because like I think the ones who succeed with multiple generations, like multiple generational wealth, are ones who can teach not, hey, this is exactly how you do it with the thing that I did it with, like not blueprint copy pasta, but more like the outline of what it takes to be successful in general in various industries, so that you can apply it to something that you have specific interest in, and that you can then take the baton, much further. Like, it's kind of like a balance between that. I think I heard the Rockefellers have like different types of like investment advice that they would have over their family that like a lot of people listen to, and like they all stay kind of rich. So like, yeah.
I'd say half the battle, so like half the battle is the structure. The other half is the nurture side of the taught things, right? But like sort of like Waller's doing this. I literally talked to him a couple days ago, and he's kind of like he's told me like he's like they don't get any money if I, because he has daughters, he has some daughters and stuff like that, and he's like, my daughters will get no money if they don't sign a prenup. If they sign a prenup, they're out of the will, they're out of everything, they're out of the drip of money. Period.
I mean, that's smart.
I will rule their lives from the grave, Miguel. Verbatim, he said, I will rule their lives. Daddy will rule them beyond the grave. Justin Waller, 2026. And that's how the Rockefellers stayed rich. They put rule in place. They can't grab all the money. They can't do all this. Like, there's insurance sides of it. That when they die, the money gets put back into it's a bigger trust. The trust grows over time. They can borrow from it. There's all these rules. But then the other side is like, I don't want to say miserly, but like it's more like learning how to like run money and then invest money, and then from there go into your interests at that point. But like the key thing is learning to be good with money.
Yeah, because the Vanderbilts were the family that basically showed you how to not do that, because they had more money than freaking God too. But then like it took them like 4 generations, like the last 4 generations before it finally went to zero. But they had enough connections. Like Anderson Cooper's the end of the line on CNN, but he still gets the connections to get like what he gets. What do you call it? deca million contracts, right? Like 10, 20, $30 million contracts with whatever bullshit he does there. But I mean, he had to work hard for it, right? He was kind of like the last one. It's like, hey, you can either hang on to a shred. Yeah, you can hang on to a shred of this or you're going to have nothing at all, right? But like, hey, we'll dap you up because, you know, your family's helped out a lot of people, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy thing. It's like, I think he's like, he also is to inherit a ton of money as well because his mom still had some money enough to be like, I'm out here, but he's like, I don't got it to give it to you.
Right.
Kind of like that. And, you know, that is why like having an important name and make those connections are important, but they did have to build it to a crazy. What happened to the Carnegies? Because Carnegies were on that
I've never heard the story behind that one. No.
Me neither. I know he donated a ton of money, and at the end, you know, like there was a lot of that there. But like,
yeah, the Lakers family is hilarious because their dad was a little bit closer to new money, and he built the dynasty on the Lakers. And like, yeah, he kind of like didn't set up all the legal stuff properly at the end, so they kind of like.
Oh, you were telling me about this. Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of like in family fight it, and they're smart enough to sell it, you know, early enough that they would all make some money. But like, yeah, I think the main lady that runs it right now, she was kind of scared of tanking the brand enough by not winning that she wouldn't be able to sell it for that much. So she kind of force sold it and kind of pissed off the other brothers and sisters because they didn't want to at the time.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to think about like generational wealth and like which ones make it, which ones don't. I mean, those kids, all their families, right? They got each $500 million plus on that deal, which is like 7 kids or 6 kids, something like that. So now it's a matter of with each of those families. Yeah. Like great. You know, now, and their dad only put in, I think to buy the Lakers was like 65 million, 120 million, something like that, you know, and that they sold for 10 billion. You know, 50 years later or whatever. But
it was really it was built up by the Kobe run basically and stuff like that.
There was some Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, yeah, and those guys at the very beginning, and then eventually Kobe and Shaq and that whole run. But yeah, like he would win multiple, you know, championships a decade, and you know they barely got one under the new family. But yeah, so it's just like, and that a lot of the kind of what do you call it? Unwinding of that was due to I think some of the kids not really liking each other. But basically now
that's the evilness of like because I can't talk about because like I don't have multiple kids with like multiple women yet. No, I'll joke aside. No, but like or Charlie. Hey, don't just throw this on me, Charlie. I don't want to hear this.
Who else was
Charlie was talking a lot of shit on Moongang 102 or 203. But like, think about like, but that's just like the sour because like, who puts those sours in the kid? Because like, you would think as a father, you'd be like, you know, love your brothers and right. But that's just the mothers fucking putting that evil shit in their ears. That's that older daughter was probably getting all this vile from her mom.
Yeah, she was especially about the new, you know, the stepmom or whatever you want to call it, right?
Right. Yeah, the younger,
the younger, hotter stepmom. But yeah, it was. So the interesting stat though on that is if you adjust for inflation, I would say roughly speaking, each kid got the same value that the dad put into the franchise to begin with, right? So it's like he kind of like, you know, they did a lot of X's basically, right? Enough to now they each have a chance. Like if they were to take their $500 million and go and buy like a minority stake in a major league soccer team, help build that up. If they show their chops, maybe they can then buy it someday if they do the right investments. But they have to really work their way into something. They're not going to get another NBA team.
Now it's kind of a Game of Thrones to see which now like this is the fucked up stuff. Like because I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones. I've been watching a lot of that stuff because I'm thinking of all this night stuff in my head anyway. Like it's kind of funny because there's always like sort of this weird game between the bastards versus the true-born children and all that stuff. And like now let's see where the talent lies because now like you don't have that anymore. Now obviously you know the daughter got the most of the money. Of course she did. She got a ton of the money. But like watch the fucking bastard, the boys.
And interestingly enough, she part of her selling to the LA Dodgers owner was her currying favor with various connections. She didn't want to lose her LA connections was one of the big reasons as well as why she sold it to who they sold it to. So, she was not only protecting her majority stake in the wealth, but also her majority stake in influence.
Like a Cersei Lannister, man. The Lannisters get that gold, man, even though the gold mines are dry.
Hey, I don't know about her brother, but no.
Well, hey. Later it comes out, bro. Can you imagine, bro? I'd fucking be like, oh shit, I called it.
No, she's had relationships with players, is what I've heard. Yeah.
Shocked I am not. Like, I was like, Jamar stayed on the Lakers a little longer than I would have thought. That's kind of crazy. Like,
what's just LeBron's son doing on the roster? No.
Could you imagine? He's like, yeah, man, I was on the bench. I was on the team, but I was kind of on the bench and shit for the last like 7 years and stuff. So my career's actually been pretty nice and stuff. I should have not. Pretty good. Can you imagine? I bet you there's contracts when you're like, if you hit 1 point in this season, you get a certain amount of money or some shit. Like, I bet you there's deals like that. Oh yeah, there's payoffs. And I remember this. Just the last thing with sports and stuff, but like, I remember like there's this baseball player where they needed extra room, so he gave up a part of his pay, and they would like pay him once he's out of the league, but like they'd play interest on him, and the guy's been getting paid his yearly salary for like 18 years now because it was very smart. He was like, man, shout out to my manager. Some of the smartest deal we ever made ever, bro. It was.
I would say if you ever want to see who the best agent is in the NFL, Kirk Cousins. What do you call them? His agent. Yeah, I forgot his name. Scott Boras, I think. He pretty much like the guy should not be getting like as much guaranteed as he does in his contract ever. And he just like gets the best contracts on the best contracts on the best contracts for being like mediocre average quarterback, but
right.
Yeah, there's, wheeling and dealing, baby.
That's exactly right. Let's just finish. Oh, and then one thing, before we got into all this stuff, we were talking about like all this intelligence stuff, and it's good to see this. But on the other side, Charlie, there's a new league. There's a new league. As we talked about intelligence, Charlie, there's now a new league to talk about where it's just Oklahoma drills, basically.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
So like if you look at the early history of American football,
yeah,
it's like rugby, right? Like
yeah.
These guys are kind of looking like rugby players, kind of hitting each other in the shoulders like rugby players. But this is how American football started out to some extent, right? With no protection and all that stuff. What happened that ended the sport? Some fucking knuckleheads hit head to head and they died. So like there is if one of these guys here. There's a very big chance, I think, of actual death happening on a sport like this. Unfortunately, I don't like when the UFC came out, that was pretty brutal. But like, hey, nobody's dying doing that for the most part, right? Like versus this, I mean, you never know. One of those weird hits just can, or at least maybe they put a guy in a wheelchair.
You know what they could probably do? I know that because if you give them a helmet, they're going to use their head. That's the retarded shit. Like,
right.
So like. Maybe a neck brace would help somewhat because it's like
you still got spinal cord issues.
Yeah, I mean, look at the first one. The first one that resets right here. This one right here. Dog. Oh, dog. I get the appeal, but I mean, I don't know how Slapfest seems like more intelligent. Damn near. Like it seems like this is just CTE. This is CTE max. You have CTE light.
CTE, spinal cord injuries, skull cracking, all sorts of good stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, it's cool as fuck, right? But like I don't know. I mean, like it's just like you called oh, you're just a bitch made motherfucker, or like you're like soft ass motherfuckers. Like because I see a lot of people did football. Kyle, it's like I get it, dude. It's like Oklahoma because Kyle used to do some of the shit for football, and I was like, yeah, Kyle, but this is retarded. This is retarded.
I remember doing this in football drills and stuff like that, and then running backs and fullbacks are usually stout, so they're shorter, but then they have like more muscle mass. And like when we did those drills, I hit helmet to helmet with a guy because I couldn't get lower than him. We both basically fell down, and then I woke up, or then I got up.
I
got up or whatever, and I was just kind of like a little bit like this. It's like they say seeing stars or whatever. And the coach was just like, "You all right?" I'm like, like it just like put me at the back of the line, like what the fuck is this shit? But like that happens. And like if you do that like over and over and over again, like that's the only thing you're doing in the goddamn sport. Like you're going to You're just not going to last a long time. Like there's just even beast mode put into that. Like he'd probably win like his first 20 things or whatever. Then on like number 26, right match, like then he gets a spinal cord injury. It's like fuck, like
yeah, it's super dangerous. Like
concussion maxing, yeah,
it is concussion maxing and stuff like I'm not against like I love one of the events I'm trying to like for the crypto mindset meetup where I'm trying to like book, but like timing wise it might not work, is live night. So guys in knight armor fighting each other. Cool. Right, it's cool, right? And so but like one thing now, because like the Game of Thrones thing is getting so popular too, and like all these sports are, I mean, people are actually trying to bring jousting back, like legitimate. They're trying to have professional jousting, which is also extremely dangerous as well, because like they could splinter and it can go straight into it. People have lost eyes.
Yeah, it reminds me of the movie The Cable Guy when he goes and jousts.
Oh yeah, with the green jersey he has or whatever the fuck. Yeah. Fencing.
That movie is such like a, what do you call it, like cult classic. It's kind of like, what do you call it, it's like cringe but hilarious.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards let's do knight, like let's go back to the medieval thing, and then actually the jousting, I like that, it's pretty cool. But like this one just seems like fuck, dude. This is like, like you're absolutely right, Charlie. This is gonna, some guy, it's gonna be like, this is Dana White presents this, and then like, oh fuck, they died. One of them died. And then the worst part is if they die right there, they're just like, fuck. And it's a wrap. And it's a wrap.
Yep. Well, like, you know how like with what's his name? Not Gary Coleman. What's the guy?
Gary Coleman.
Who's the bodybuilder guy? What's his name?
Ronnie Coleman. Gary Coleman. You went exact opposite. The fucking smartest guy ever. Yeah, Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, no, Ronnie Coleman, right? He's like in a wheelchair now or something, right?
Yeah, it's from fucked up. He
but like
very bad medical advice.
Right. So okay, so whatever that is, right? But that's just an example of running your body into the ground,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Same thing. Like, hey, here's the guy. He's the first ballot Hall of Famer into the first Ring of Honor for whatever the sport's called, and he's in a wheelchair and drooling like Stephen Hawking. So take a picture, guys.
Yeah, the saddest one that like, because he was so, like Muhammad Ali. You could partly forgive it because it's like he was already older too already, but it's just like he was so like at the end there he was just like he would say hey and then just do, you're like, oh hell, you're like grandpa.
There's a brutal ass video where Mike Tyson went and visited Ali at his house, and like they were doing like a thing for a video, and then Tyson just starts fucking mocking the shit out of him, like, hey, you can't fight me now, can you? And he starts going like this. I was like, bro, this is like so fucking disrespectful. It wasn't even funny. I was just like, bro. But like Tyson, I mean, just like, I guess he was trying to get one over at the end. I was just like, that's brutal.
It is pretty brutal and stuff like that. But hey, it is what it. I mean, this is like what I forgot who said this. Like extremism, basically. Actually, I've said a portion of this, but there's somebody like who said it overall. Like basically, like. So when people always ask me and Charlie when we go on streams, when we go on non-financial channel streams, is like, so where is this all heading? This is a question me and Charlie get. Like I feel like almost every other interview we like first time we meet somebody. So big crypto guys, like where is this all heading? And we always say the first thing me and Charlie is central bank digital currency, right? And sadly, it basically kind of basically like 2,000 like COVID checks. Basically, it's like you get $2,000 a month from the government. It's kind of like that. Yeah, it's like
I mean, yeah, it's like hey, I have this knife to sell you, right? And it's like, right. Okay, well, how can I use it? Well, you can use it to cut a nice fillet of steak or a nice fillet of fish or whatever. But you can also use it to stab your neighbor. Like it's kind of like that. It's like, hey, this is cryptocurrency. You can basically have what do you call it? Non-censored non-controlled money, free of the government that you control yourself, or you can do the exact opposite and choose government controlled money and be a slave to the system. But like literally it provides both opportunities, right? But which one are most people going to be in? It's mostly the one that they're forced in by their government, not the one of their choosing, because unfortunately most people are sheep. Most people will follow the herd. Most people, and like Bitcoin gets demonized. Why is the stupid ass rumor that Bitcoin was built by Jeffrey Epstein and Epstein Satoshi getting traction? Well, because they want to try to tarnish Bitcoin from a normie point of view, so that whenever a normie hears that, that's the first thing they think of. It hesitates them to buy. All they need is a couple hesitations, and they're not going to buy it for another 10 years, right? And they'll never have an idea of how to get out of the system.
So, like, the reason we call ourselves the red pill of finance is because it is heading towards UBI. It's heading towards, like, so this is something that they never created this, but like they branded this IQ pill in a way, right? It's like AI is becoming more and more advanced. Like, actually, Jordan Peterson actually talked about this a little bit on Rogan when he, I think his first or second interview, he kind of talked about, like, he's talked about the military. There's a borderline amount of IQ we need. We need you at 70 IQ. If you're 65, you're just too stupid to be in the military. That should tell you something, because the military needs bodies. And if they're not willing to take a soldier under a certain, like, IQ level, that's not, that should tell you something that, like, and what's happening is that, like, with AI and the IQ pill and, like, things becoming very, like, now you can still have a low IQ and go viral on the internet. So, hey, Shad, there's a lane here, but the problem is that lane is going to get extremely crowded, and this is why we've been telling people, make a social media, or don't just make an Instagram, make a YouTube if you want, if that's what you like. But it gets to a point where, like, a lot of people on the white collar side, a lot of jobs, it's going to be very hard to get a job in the white collar side until, like, we're 10, 15 years in, and then established businesses in lanes or established in the robotics side starts coming in and displacing people. Like, I even said, like, yeah, robotics will probably be on the lowest end of the blue collar side in 15 years, not 10 years, but 15 years. Because it's like, I was, I don't know who I was saying this to. I think it was maybe Rule Zero, or, like, no, I had an interview with Jack Napier, and he's like, yeah, with all these robots, isn't SpaceX, or, like, isn't Elon Musk coming out with robots? So he is, but, like, I'm not going to fucking buy a robot. Now, we're weirdos in a way, because I don't have Alexa. Like, why the fuck I have just a listening recording device, and we already do.
Hey, already do. Yeah.
But Alexa legitimately listens to everything you say.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous. And
there's been plenty of cases where even things that weren't supposed to be listening in on you, like, listen to everything and then sold your data on that too. Like, I forget what it was recently, but there's something like that came out. So I mean, like, it's always going to be used to some level nefariously.
Now watch this. So in the Super Bowl, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just kept coming back and forth to the living room to watch it here and there. And one of the commercials was for Ring. So they had this whole this how scary, like, my mind, like, watch. So for Ring, isn't it, the CEO of Ring was like, hey, isn't this sad that when people, like, isn't it sad when you lose a pet that we're still using this old technology of, like, have you seen me? So, like, like you put a picture of the dog, you have like these little rails at the bottom here, these lines of your phone number, call me, reward if you find my dog, that's the classic thing. Well, here at Ring, we've created this new technology where, like, it will actually, like, you can upload your picture of your dog into Ring, and it will see if it can track and find your dog through a network of other Ring cameras. Oh, it's totally about the dog. It's totally about, and this, I was like, why are we getting Ring cameras? Like, and it's like, it's,
well,
I get.
Yeah, that it's like, hey, we're gonna, like, this is cute, we're gonna track it like this, like, that's just, like, the slipperiest of slopes.
Like, conspiracy theories are like 1,001. Like, literally, like, it's like we're like, only the flat Earth has not been proven yet at this point, right? But, like, it's true, because, like, think about this. So growing up, right, like, there's no cameras on suburban streets, there's no cameras in the cul-de-sacs, there's no cameras anywhere. Then they start putting cameras in the highways, in the stop signs, and then, like, to get now, there's cameras everywhere, basically everywhere now. So now they have access. Do you think they don't have access to your Ring camera?
Oh, of course. NSA probably invested heavily.
Yeah, it's why you get, like, a cover on your laptop, and you do all things like that. It's a lot of weird stuff. But yeah, Big Brother's always watching and stuff.
It's interesting. Speaking of that, like, the first Bitcoin meetup I went to was the one in Shibuya with Roger Ver running it. And Vitalik was speaking that night, and I didn't know who Roger Ver was, but he was at the door and he was handing out stickers for Bitcoin.com, and then also things to cover your camera, like little magnets to cover your camera on your laptop.
Right.
I was like, nice, but very what do you call it? Crypto things.
So it's just this weird thing where like basically the IQ side starts. So it's like I've explained it before that like there's like the lanes, right? There's the business and make money side. Then there's the social media side, which is getting more and more powerful. And in the social media side is in a way it's both a business and that, but there's also the entertainment side. And what's happening is if we go into UBI and a lot of people lose their job, that becomes very crowded. And then what happens is in order to compete in this global arena, extremism is what's rewarded. Because just like everything, lanes are taken. Like let's just say, like we hold up this huge part of the millennial crypto lane, right? So then like the new guys come in and they have to do ridiculous like stuff to get like their market share. Or this is why like the generations are like, I mean, I've done it to the boomers, but like I mean, everyone attacks boomers, right? But like every generation says, oh, the generation above them are older, or like fucking chopped and fucked and stupid and retarded. You see, like and. You know, it's that, you know, it's same thing too. I like, you know, a millennial Zoomer guy will listen to a Zoomer dude, like a millennial listen to a millennial. You know, there is a lot of that and we can't escape it because we do it naturally. You know, you try to find someone that looks like you, or unless you can just pass off, you're just so generationally awesome and good at speaking that you can just break through that. That's really cool. And that happens. But most people kind of fall in between that kind of lane, in between like that as a lane right there, right? You know, it's very hard where you're someone like a, I don't know, like in crypto terms, let me think of a person like a YouTuber. I would say probably like, you know, the 4-year journey, you know, him like Ben Cohen is a guy who like multiple generations listen. Okay, that's good. But then there's tons of other guys where it's kind of like only like a small subset of like,
like their like generational listen to him.
Yeah. And that's happening. And I've been noticing that now. Because now, like, we were the first generation really on YouTube in terms of millennials, but now we get the Zoomers coming up and they're fighting for market share. This is why we have them. Like, we're not red pill, we're black pill. They're creating a generational line here because it's like these fucking millennial motherfuckers are red pill, and this is why like I make that joke of like Ziz, we're all gonna make it, bro. It's all over, dude.
Yeah, and you do gotta kind of admit though, like each generation's had it more fucked when it comes to a financial perspective when they get out of college and like I would say the millennials got a very raw end deal basically when we got into the workforce. But damn, the Zoomers have it worse. Surprise, they have it better and worse at the same time, right? They have it worse for the general population but better for the few who can utilize the tools that they have, because they have way better tools than any generation in the history of man has ever
what is
had.
that IQ pill? That's IQ if they're smart enough to use. That's the part that there was more like low level, like you just work hard, do this, and right here you're gonna make it. And that's always true, is never give up.
And it's not always just smart enough, but clever enough, right? Like there's street smarts that can be used there too, but in a tech way, like
that's why like the optimist. That's why the optimist is always going to be more successful. Like you know, bulls always make more than bears. Now bears will win. That's like right now bears are kind of winning. But then the problem is that the bears get very gun shy to buy.
Yeah, now is pretty much the time. I mean, we haven't technically yet confirmed the bottom of the 60-day cycle, but we're damn close. And we got a good
share the chart on that? You want to share the chart on that?
Sure. We got a good weekly close too. So I kind of gave on my show on Friday a kind of bad or good, better, best scenario, kind of, or like where we could be on the weekly close. So
I will say the boomers, just before you share the chart, the boomers have a superpower that it's true. It's just sort of like, I'm just going to keep doing this. Like, I'm just going to keep, like, I know it crashed right now. I know, like, it's like the stock market's a perfect example. I know I shouldn't DCA right now because the S&P just hit a all-time high, but I'm just going to buy it anyway. And then over a long period of time, it's correct. Because same thing with Bitcoin. Let's just say you were the guy that bought $126,000 Bitcoin. Fuck. In 10 years, you're like, actually 10 years ago, I bought the top on literally like, I mean, even Richard Hart said this. Like, I remember he's like, when I really got in, like when I really threw some big money in, like, cause he bought some, he mined a bunch of Bitcoin, like 50 Bitcoin blocks on his computer and stuff like that back in the day. And then he started buying some, DCAing, and then he just got super into hype. Oh shit, this is going to go to like $3,000 or $1,000 from $50. He bought $50 Bitcoin, and then it fucking just giga dumped. So he bought the local top on Bitcoin, and then it just duped down to $1. He was like, Jesus, but he held it, and now like, oh, I bought Bitcoin at $50. You bought Bitcoin at $50, dude? Oh my God! That's sort of that power there.
And also with now that Bitcoin's a little slower, right? Because back then it had that volatility really quick too. Now that it's a little slower, you have a little bit more time to buy. You can accumulate more, which is necessary because it's harder to get a whole coin compared to what it used to be, right? So if you bought 126K Bitcoin and you see it at 67K Bitcoin now, it's half price, right? Is it 80%? Is it what's the meme? I forget, but is it 80%? It's not. It's
80% down. It's 80% off.
It's
That's such a good line. That's such a good line. Yeah.
I did see, because like I compared the Bitcoin crash to a lot of the crashes since 2018, and since 2018, it's probably top 3 to 5 significant crashes that Bitcoin's had. But I saw somebody on Twitter do it for a longer period of time, and it's basically it's 9 out of top 10 crypto Bitcoin crashes of all time. I'm like, that's hilarious. But yeah, so yeah, if you want, I can throw it up. So,
let's throw it up there, but
because I can't see
it. Wait, no, oops, I'm sorry. Let me unshare screen. Sorry.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, it's there.
Yep, it's up now. Yep.
Okay, so I'm fairly confident we have the bottom of the 60-day cycle in. With how big this crash has been, how oversold it was, we got a decent bounce on the Friday candle. One stat that I mentioned on my show last week was that only 20% of Bitcoin's buying and selling volume happens on weekends. So we expected basically sideways action. If we get, what I said on Friday essentially was, if we get sideways to up action with a weekly close higher than 68,000, like we're in a really good spot. And so we're in a really good spot. If we like zoom in here on the daily and we turn on the Cultivate Crypto algo, we haven't confirmed a buy signal yet. We have 2 days underneath it. But once we get a daily close, right now it's struggling to close above this $70,500. But once it closes above there for 2 to 3 days, which I expect to happen in the first half of this week, if that happens, then boom, we have a cycle low confirmed in. And what that is useful for is basically understanding, okay, here's the area to take risk, right? If let's say you're just taking risk on Bitcoin, but you can use similar metrics, or similar candle structures on other charts like Solana and Ethereum, if you're looking at those. But if we're saying, 70,500, that's what we need to close above. You can wait till we get a close above there to make a purchase. Cool. Or you can wait till we're above there for 2 or 3 days to make a purchase. Cool. That's probably better, right? But you will get slightly higher prices. So just understand that. If you take the risk now, right, this candle, you have a choice of where you would put your stop loss on Bitcoin. The low of this candle from Saturday, which would be 67,300. That would be something that would have a chance of possibly wicking out, but at least, that's somewhat tight. So you're not like there. The risk is really low. Let's say from current price, then the risk is really 5%, which is almost nothing, versus, this can go up here on a new 60-day cycle to, I would say, minimum 78,000, likely mid 80Ks, low to mid 80Ks. And if you got a good move, maybe we get up to 90,000 area or so, right? So you're pretty much baking in somewhere between a 13% gain here on Bitcoin to 25% gain or so versus that 5% risk. So that's a pretty easy risk to reward swing. And if it wicks out, it wicks out. On $1,000, you lost 50. Who cares, right? If you want to give it more room, you could put your stop loss all the way down here at like 62,000 or something like that. But really the risk here in terms of time, so there's risk in price and then there's risk in time. So the longer that, we stay in this region here, the more likely it is to fall down again. But if this is a 60-day cycle low proper, then we're currently on day 3 of the 60-day cycle with a high on day 2, which, we've never had a high on day 2. So we usually have a high, like an early high that we've seen in the last 4 years has been like 6 or 7 days, which would be like just the day before Valentine's Day. Pretty much we would go, within this week, you would expect a new high here, which the current high is at 72,200. right? So you'd expect the price to go above that 72, 73,000 at some point, which if it happens, I think it will lead to a little bit more of a move there. So that's like your minimum expectation, which, you know, at the very beginning of a 60-day cycle, if you do take a bet, like you're taking a bet at this price, either today or in the beginning of the week, then you want to know what the worst case scenario is, which is that early high and then a rollover. In that case, you know, either your stop loss gets hit or you take it at a break even, whatever. But if we get what we usually get in even a bearish 60-day cycle, we should see, as long as we confirm above this $72,000, $73,000 region going into the early part of the week. That's the key thing in there. As long as we do that, then we should be going up into February 16th at minimum, up to February 26th. So, and you could say maybe a little bit longer into terms of like the very last day of February, which I think looks like the 28th. Is that a leap year? It might be. I think a leap year is 28 days, right? And then the normal one's 29, or no, the leap year is 29 days. That's right. So no, we're on a regular year. But anyways, yeah, you'd expect the high within February and nowhere really beyond about 85, 86,000 most likely on a left translated cycle. If we do start getting to test the 90K region again, I would expect that past day 30, which would be then into the mid-March period. So I don't expect the rebound on this to be like a V-shaped recovery where like you came down here and then you come back up. We simply don't have that much buying pressure compared to the selling pressure that we had here. But what I do expect at least is, let's see here, if we move kind of like this, maybe we struggle around this area for a bit. We start moving up, you get some sideways action, and then sometime either a bit before or a bit after the day 30 period, then we peak, then we come back down. And the main thing is, if we peak past the middle of March, then we're probably going to hold up a higher low. If we peak before the end of February, then we're probably going to come back down in March and visit down here, maybe the 52 to 57K region. So time is not like, there's no like, what do you call it? Price and time are both equally important here, because you can get a really big shoot up to those prices really fast, but that won't probably be sustainable. You get that sold off really quick, you create a pretty gnarly exit liquidity scenario, and then price really crashes. Like, that's not good, right? So you want to see like a nice lunge up in price, but, you know, slow and steady, nothing crazy. And if you can continue that into March, then that's where, you know, basically you start to hold this low as a base for potentially a spring move. And then you see maybe Bitcoin retesting 100K at some point in early Q2. We could definitely see that. So yeah, how this month and next month play out, like basically watching over the next 3 to 4 weeks here is going to be pretty vitally important. And that's good timing because we are coming out with the Crypto Mindset course here at the end of February. So that will be right around where we're probably going to be looking to make critical decisions. And if we go down, let's say we have a left translated cycle and we go down into a new low in March, then during the next Crypto Mindset course, we're really going to have like low buying, dip buying, cheap stuff that we can swing back to the upside in the next 60-day cycle, and maybe over multiple 60-day cycles going into the summer. Or the other scenario here is that, what do you call it? We hold up pretty well, make a slight, and we make a nice higher low here going into the mid-March period. And then, okay, now we actually have a structure that we can buy into a little bit more aggressively, because at that point, then altcoins will start to have a little bit more pull because Bitcoin, Ethereum basically had one 60-day cycle of recovery. Then we can start to see maybe a little bit more bets coming around the corner. Because right now, yeah, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of really good low cap bets that you can make confidently, because there's a lot of stuff can just absolutely get rugged. But yeah, if you have that one cycle of regaining of support, then that's going to give more confidence to some of the altcoin plays and stuff like that. So really what happens here in the next 3 to 4 weeks is going to determine pretty much how you want to play the end of Q1 going into Q2. So that's quite important. If you want to mention anything, feel free along the way. The only other thing I guess here is if you look on the weekly, you have that crazy wick down here, which, you know, got bought back up. So that's pretty good for the bulls. You want to see that continuation here. For the bulls, they're going to have a little bit of trouble, I would say, right around this mid 70K region. But if they can regain that, like if we have a weekly candle here that we close this coming week, which just started, if we close above 77, 78,000 above the body of this candle, then you can have a nice run towards where that sell signal came in, which is 86. If you what do you call it, get up here to maybe 74K at the end of the week, that's good, but that's a little weak, and you might then be more likely to have a left translated cycle and a little bit more rollover. So how strong the current weekly candle is over the next 6 days is also a good, or what do you call it, will be an important sign to kind of what to expect in that 2 to 3 week period going into the middle to the end of the month too. So that's something to pay attention to there. And then Ethereum really is just going to follow Bitcoin. So Ethereum, you can see here, the candle on the weekly got bought up like Bitcoin, but it's not really having any more follow through yet until Bitcoin has follow through. So first you have to get Bitcoin. Like whenever you have a dump this big, you know, everything's just kind of like, fuck, right? Because we have so much fear in the market. I think the fear greed index today is back at 14, right? But it was 7 yesterday and 6 the day before. So it was extremely, extremely fearful. And to come back from that, you know, it's kind of like you get, what do you call it? Bitcoin fractures its leg and Ethereum breaks a leg and altcoins break 2 legs, you know, like each one had a little bit worse. And so Bitcoin has to hobble back. Once it recovers, then Ethereum will start to recover. Once Ethereum recovers, the altcoins will start to recover a little bit more. And you'll have some independence on some coins along the way, but overall, you know, that's kind of how it goes. So really, you're gonna see Bitcoin and Ethereum moving first here, and Solana as well. I do think Solana right now, personally, I think it's probably the best bang for your buck play, because if you go to the risk on the downside in a similar scenario to Bitcoin or Ethereum, it's not that much more risk than Bitcoin or Ethereum in terms of the volatility to the downside. If you were to put in a stop loss versus the upside gain is more. I mean, if we were to take this on the daily candle here for Solana, you can see it's getting this. It actually confirmed its buy signal, unlike Bitcoin here on the daily, not by much though. But if you're looking at it from a risk to reward perspective, your risk here would probably be a stop loss down to here, which would be about twice as risky as Bitcoin, but like 12% versus 5 or 6%. And then your upside gain here, you know, back towards about, you know, 120 to 130 bucks is like a 45% gain. So it's a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And Bitcoin's somewhat similar, but you have a higher upside here and a little bit bigger downside, but not by a whole lot. So it's similar ratio wise, but, you know, it's a little bit one of the altcoins that you can like stack long-term and still be comfortable with. So, yeah, I like this as a swing play, basically going into the crypto mindset course. So if you do want to make that swing to try to get a discount on the next crypto mindset course, right? Make a little gains here on Solana, use that to get into the Q1, Q2 course. Then I think that's probably going to be the more bang for your buck. Of course, though, there's always inherent risk. You got to make that decision, you know, on your own. But I would say if you do venture out into the other coins beyond Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana right now, you're going to have very mixed results because not all of them will respond right away to Bitcoin and Ethereum moves.
Right.
We always know that they move better when Bitcoin gets closer to its 20-week moving average.
Yeah, and one of the few coins this cycle that actually moved was Solana, because it just became kind of like the main character coin effectively. And we weren't that surprised because it did pretty well last cycle, but it was like, all right, cool. So we know Solana is one of the other ones. There was quite a lot of other ones that did okay and did good, but it took them a while to start really getting their mojo and really winning and stuff like that. So,
right.
And then we also had like kind of new incumbents, sort of like Caspa did incredible initially, and then just kind of didn't really peter out, but it just stopped pumping Basically, it just got stuck there, and that's obviously some of the big whales and guys who got in just kept using it as a cash register. Effectively, that's what happened.
Yeah, I would say the way, if you're jumping into Solana at the bottom of 60-day cycles on Bitcoin to swing the upside, like you're going to have to sell it at some point, take profit into USDC, and then let it drop and buy it back again. Versus if you do that with Bitcoin or Ethereum, you have a lot more leeway. And the reason why I say that is because if you do look at the VPVR here, Bitcoin is at like here. Let me kind of turn this off here and then zoom out on Bitcoin. If you look at Bitcoin here on the visible range, this is basically the buying and selling that happened at any price point. And usually when there's a lot of buying and selling at one particular price point, that becomes an area of support resistance, because psychologically people understand price at that area has been there before. So that's a good discount, or it's expensive, one of the two. Here, Bitcoin fell through all of that, which was one of the reasons why it dropped so heavily from 84K down to 67, because it was going through an area that it hadn't really had a lot of experience before, which was that area of price. And Solana has that gap all the way down to like 30 to 40 bucks. So at some point during this downtrend, even if the rebound is pretty okay, at some point during this downtrend, Solana is going to have one of those points where it just gets absolutely nuked. So that's the risk here on Solana, just in the terms of between the price action of 40 bucks to 100. So just good stat, FYI.
Yeah. But Ricky, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if there's any, I can pop out of the charts if there's anything, if there's nothing else we wanted to look at on there. But that was my general idea of kind of the top three.
Right. And what Ricky's saying here in terms of how high could it run, like it all depends how high Bitcoin runs. So if we actually get like, because it's not usually a straight line down, you end up getting a little reversal, and it looks good for a little bit, and then it'll go back down, basically.
I have on Bitcoin in particular, I have like you know Gandalf when he says, "You shall not pass." You know that
right,
saying?
Right. Yeah.
I have a new "You shall not pass" line for Bitcoin. So I gave this scenario on Friday on my Friday stream, and this is one that's just interesting because 60-day cycle wise, if you're in a bear market, the 60-day cycle peaks tend to be lower highs. There might be 1 out of 10 in a bear market that makes a slightly higher high than the previous 60-day cycle. So the previous high of the cycle here was $98,000 essentially. So that's my "you shall not pass" right line with Bitcoin. So I do not think Bitcoin has enough energy, has enough momentum, because we are in a fundamental bear market, like by the, you know, how you look at the charts on a fundamental way, right? And so like that it won't pass that line. The only way Bitcoin will pass 98,000 is, in my opinion, is if we go back into a bull market, which that would be interesting, because Bitcoin here has what we call a failed cycle, where you had a bullish high, well past day 30, but you made a lower low. So it's like the high and the low massively disagree. And in this case, the low wins because, your low to low is more important than where the high comes in, basically, on cycles in general. And so, yeah, you would basically have two things. Like in a bear market, a failed cycle happens, but it never happens in a bull market, right? So this is part of that confirmation that you're in a bear. And then the next confirmation is that you can't get above the peak. So if you were to get Bitcoin back above $100,000 here, then I would say, okay, you know, any of those people who said we might have a shorter bear market, we might have less of a decline in Bitcoin because Wall Street's in the play now and stuff like that. Like that's the only scenario I see where that's actually true. Yeah. And that would be wild. I don't expect that. So that's why I'd give that like a 5% chance of happening. So pretty much not happening. So if you do that with Bitcoin, you can look at this structure and you can go over to Ethereum. Let's do Solana first, right? Look at the same structure for Solana. It broke down, tried to regain, and then dropped. Where did it drop from? Or what was that peak, right? That is about 150 bucks. The actual number is 148.80. So let's say 149. So 149, 150 is the "you shall not pass" line for Solana. And then if we look at Ethereum, you would say about 3,400 to 3,450, somewhere in that range right there would be your you shall not pass line. So Ethereum has heavy resistance at about $3,100. That's probably where it slows down a lot. It's at 2,100 right now. If it made that move, that'd be a pretty good move, right? But it would be sustainable. There's some plays where I could say, okay, some coins could break that idea. For Zcash, it has a bit of a different pattern here. So it's possible. I don't think Zcash will come up here and go past this 555 level. Could it though? Like I could see an argument for how this pattern is built out that it could make a slightly higher high and then roll over into its true bear market. So there's specific patterns on some coins that may, not follow that exactly, but nothing follows Bitcoin, Ethereum perfectly in crypto. But I would say the vast majority of coins, maybe 80-90%, will probably follow that same idea with the you shall not pass line, simply because of Bitcoin. The other way you kind of look at it here is maybe Bitcoin to get to that level would have to do a 40% gain. And so most altcoins would have to increase by 50 to 80% in order to break those levels for themselves, most likely. So yeah, if your coin's maybe primed for a double based on whatever pattern you see on it, that might be one of the exceptions, right? I don't know a particular coin right now that I'm not thinking of one that has that pattern in it. So yeah, for the vast majority of these, like let's say Bitcoin comes up here 25%, really good move. Then most altcoins are going to come up 30, 35, 50%, maybe 60% max during that move. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a parameters for kind of where the limitations might be.
Yep. Cool.
But I'll pop one of the charts here. So
yeah.
But so I mean, sometimes it's good because you can't copy paste every strategy from Bitcoin to everything else because everything's not perfectly correlated, but you can kind of get pretty good generalizations.
Yeah, it's kind of like Bitcoin's kind of the thermostat essentially, but you still like right now, like everyone on Twitter, like a couple days ago or like 5 days ago was going crazy over, Hyperliquid, and it pumped like $10 and everyone was like, you see the second coming of Christ and all these other things. And then I mean, yeah, it's an okay move, it's doing okay, but it's like now no one's talking about it anymore. I'm not saying it's a good coin. I'm not saying it's a bad coin, but
and like Ricky's saying there, he said that would be awesome if we broke 98K and fast forwarded the bear market and everything. It would be, but with everything that you get also some other stuff that you might not want, right? So what you would get with that is good. We have a possible new bull trend. The bad thing with that is the amount of uncertainty that you have, and the amount you have to recalibrate what the fundamentals are, what those are, what's happening maybe with the Fed and everything like that, how that changes the game, because you can get so many curveballs from unexpected moves that it really throws the whole market off, and Wall Street loves that shit. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they try to do that, right? But yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, and randomly legendary, what price can we short Bitcoin? I mean, we don't recommend shorting for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to you're gonna have to watch it really freaking closely. And yeah, but I don't recommend to do it with leverage. If you're gonna do it, do it with spot, sell off your Bitcoin, let it drop, however much, 20-30% it's gonna drop, and then buy it back again and do that type of spot swings is much healthier, but people get greedy. But anyways, what you would have to do is, if you follow how I follow the 60-day cycles and everything like that, anywhere between day 18, which would probably be into the 20th or so, the last 10 days of the month to the first, let's say 3 or 4 days of next month, that's when we're going to be basically promoting the crypto mindset course. That's going to be the period that you have to pay attention. Is price hitting a resistance area, and is it stalling out? If it's doing those two things, then that's probably where you're going to want to take profits. And if you're going to short, feel free, but you're probably going to get wicked out because there's going to be one of those moves that goes whoop to the upside before it crashes just to fuck you over.
Yeah, definitely. And there's actually, and speaking of leverage, this is a crazy bit of there's like lawsuits against Binance right now because there's some people that were long Bitcoin, very small amounts. They like, I'm talking about like 0.4, 0.1 X leverage, and they lost their money somehow.
And exchanges like Bybit have been like, oh, sorry, we have what do you call it? No withdrawals for the next 1 week or 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever, just because we have technical things that we have to glitches that we have to take care of, which is, you know,
yeah. And they asked, this is something they actually even asked Vitalik recently. It's like he sold like $13 million of Ethereum. He obviously said he was going to, because he wants it to, half of it's for like some he wants to donate to some like charities. The other half he's going to donate it to some people that are doing like things on Ethereum, basically kind of like, hey, you're doing important work on Ethereum. He's like, why didn't you just take a loan on it? And he basically says, why would I be taking systematic risk? I mean, you're putting more capital up to risk it if it gets liquidated. I mean, basically he's like, if I short it here and stuff like this, then basically some people will want to stomp me out, because who doesn't want to like say like I liquidated, Vitalik got liquidated. You know what I'm saying? Also, like he basically said, yeah, it's kind of dangerous to even borrow an Aave, which it is. It is dangerous. It's not free. It's only like cool when you borrow and like the bottom's in. It's like, oh yeah, let me borrow on all my Bitcoin. There you go. The danger. I borrowed on all my fucking Bitcoin at like 20 grand or whatever, right? And then okay, and then now it went up. Cool, you won on that, but there's tons of points where that was very stupid, and most people want to borrow when their Bitcoin's worth enough so they can get something out of it. They're like, I got one Bitcoin, it's at 50 grand, I'll borrow on it 80% LTV, let me get like 40-ish grand out of it. And then if it goes down a little bit, and like, oh fuck, I lost the other oops, I lost 20% of my Bitcoin, damn it, but I have the cash, hey, and then did you buy, and then it goes back up to a higher price, and now they have like, oh wow, instead of having one Bitcoin, I now have 0.65 Bitcoin or 7.1 Bitcoin.
And you take that move and you multiply times 10, 100, whatever with leverage, right? Like then you're going to have zero Bitcoin at the end of the day if you do too much leverage. So
and yeah, that's just borrowing on your crypto, which has like limits to like basically like how much you take back is the level of leverage versus you just taking the whole position and having multiple. Then 5% wick could knock you out, basically, which is terrible. So this is why we don't recommend leverage at all. We just don't. I mean, if there was like a steady place to do maybe in options, but options are like you're just basically betting that I think this outcome will happen within this amount of time, and then your downside's capped because you're only betting whatever. Like I'm willing to put 3 chips of risk on this bet. That it's almost like it's basically like a poly market bet. I bet $10,000 that Ethereum will hit 5,000 before the end of 2027. And then you'd be like, oh, it hit, yeah, that, and then cool, but like. That's at least better than like I've got my whole stack on there and it's like tweak.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, right. Well, and the one good thing about options is there's enough nuances to the rules that you really have to study it before you do it. Versus leverage, it's like they make it easy enough, even a retard can do it.
What are you trying to say, Charlie? What are you trying to say?
Yeah, we don't do leverage, so we good.
Yeah, we good. I've just stayed away from it. I mean, the tried and true, just buying, DCAing. We're not against a swing trade. We are not against a swing trade or making
swing trades are absolutely great. Just make sure that you're paying attention, like you don't like fall asleep at the wheel.
Like I was saying this to a student earlier today, was like, like when the bottoms come in or things really, really dip down, you kind of like should go like 80% of your capital Bitcoin, Ethereum. And then the other 20% could be Solana or whatever your favorite coin that you like. Cool. Because it's cheap or whatever. Then your DCA should be 50% Bitcoin, Ethereum, 50% the other stuff you're buying. And then at some point, Bitcoin, like this cycle, I was buying Bitcoin between 15,500 to basically 52,000 because I set that level. I said this many times on YouTube for a good amount of time. Like, I don't want to buy Bitcoin above $1 trillion market cap. I want to buy it below. Okay. Now that money that I was DCing into Bitcoin, I moved it over to Ethereum because it was still below. I think we were still below $3,400. So like, as long as it's under $3,000, it's safe to DCA. And I did. And then at some point it went above that. And then I moved that DCA powder into other stuff, into more speculative stuff. Now I still had a portion, like that was only half the money. The other 50% was still going into speculation stuff, basically trying to make capital and money. A lot of that went into Solana, or went into some purchases on Pulse Chain at the low or something like that, or went into like Sonic. I will Phantom before I would turn into Sonic, and I ran from like 16 cents to $1.40, and then Sonic launched basically, and then there was other things that we bought within the. You see how like but over the time, you probably will have like 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin, Ethereum. It kind of covers your ass on the rest of it. So you're giving up upside. You're giving upside on the Bitcoin side in order, but the Bitcoin and Ethereum are insurance to make sure that you get profit no matter what happens. And then now, because you gave up that Bitcoin money, you're speculating that even like you can get multiples on it, which you usually can. But if things go bad, like, oh, I went all in on GameFi, fuck, Bitcoin and Ethereum covered your ass on it. And then people were asking how much you should put into some risky like sector like that. 5%. I don't think most people did not listen for some fucking retarded reason, decides to go all in on fucking Gala, which Gala and Root, I said one-off purchases. Done. But like that just keeps getting paraded. That's something that pisses me the fuck off. With you can go back to my streams. Go back to my streams. I literally say how much I'm making a 1 or 2 purchases. Done. Like Root, I'll throw $500, $1,000. It's a fucking super speculative L1 for GameFi. Maybe it'll work out. Let's see what happens. Then I'm making these purchases. Done. I'm not buying anymore. But that seems to have like, because I mentioned a coin. Charlie, it's time to put the entire fucking house into it.
Yeah, that's where the information Shinkan Center bullet train just goes choo choo, right? When in one ear, out the other, and you hear what you want to hear sometimes when we talk on these streams. I mean, yeah, we do long form content. I get it, but there are portions where we highlight, what we mean on certain things, and sometimes people don't have the attention span either to listen into the details, the nuance, and all that stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, like. The one thing that I always think is really interesting, right? We have really, really good information. And what I noticed, especially last cycle when we had like the crazy alt seasons and stuff, is that, there's going to be the 80-20 rule. There's going to be 80% of the audience that's very capable. And there's going to be 20% of the audience that for whatever reason, they don't, they had something happen in their life. They, don't do well with certain types of trading or whatever, right? Whatever the reason is that they can't end up pulling off the strategies, it just is what it is, Pareto principle, right? Then the 80% of people who can, I would say maybe 20-30% of those people actually do, and that's the part where I'm like, that kind of like is a little bit of a gut punch, because we want the 100% of that 80% to have success, but whatever other reason, there's fall offs and stuff like that. So, really all it takes to do well, especially with the information that we give, is to A, pay attention, right? And then B, critically think on that information.
Critically think. You lost me, Charlie.
Yeah, I know I lost a lot of people on that one. I lost probably 80% on that one. But yeah, no, it's just one of those things where it's like, like that detail orientation or that detailed focus is, I get it. It's tough for some people, but like you want to hear what you want to hear. Okay. Then like, right. It is what it is. Just listen to the sound bite and go all in on that, I guess.
Yeah. And like someone that should so another part too, right, is like people coming to this, I'm here to invest. That's good. Then there's some people and I understand this side of it too, because I've done it all of it. I've been here since 2016. It's been 10 years. I've been in this market for 10 years.
100 years in crypto terms.
100 years. 120. We're 120 years old, Charlie. 120 years, because a month in crypto is a year in the equities market. So, we're 120 years old. Yeah, we're very old in crypto terms, but we've seen it and done it all. And there's you guys should be trying to invest, but here's the problem: is that the temptation of someone who doesn't have a lot of money to speculate is crazy. So it's so a lot of people fool themselves into saying I'm investing, but they're actually just speculating and gambling.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with speculating and gambling. You can make some fucking serious money like that, but you got to know am I jumping this as a speculation or versus gambling? And a lot of guys. So the guys who usually have more money usually look at it more like speculation. We've had a couple of guys, as investing a lot. I had some guys who came in with huge money and were like, no, I'm gambling. All right. Okay, dog. That's, but most people, the guys who come in I've got 30,000, 25,000, and then I can DCA 5,000 a month. Okay. And then they're they have more of an investing mentality because, they make more money and they're kind of used to making these longer term plays, right? That's why they're making more money, right? Then you have guys that are starting off earlier in their journey, and they've like, I can only do about like really $1,000 a month max, right? And there's nothing wrong with that because that's where I started too. And the difference is I took the lane of investing. Is like I was buying Ethereum and Bitcoin and Litecoin at the time, slowly buying because that's all I could do. I didn't have the mass amount of capital. And then but luckily for me, the cycle rewarded me because I was buying the main 3 assets of the cycle: the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, the Solana. I mean, I'm sorry, well, the Litecoin, I should say. But this is why we've been preaching that, like, our advice changed from 21 to 25. I guess the 25 cycle was we had many discussions during 2022 and parts of 23 about like how to change the kind of the guidance and the advice we give. And we were very adamant about saying like 50% of your portfolio should be Bitcoin, Ethereum. If you want to be all Bitcoin, cool. If you want to be all Ethereum, that's cool too, as you want to. But we usually like it when people have some Bitcoin, right? But and you know, things we're about to enter the cheapest zone you're going to have for the next 3-4 years. Yep. And that's why, like, you know, I mean, this is essentially becoming a mega course, basically. You know, this next course, the next 2 courses that we do this year are going to be extremely, they call it investing. I got a little N2 shirt on right now. But yeah, but the guy that comes in with $500, like, is like, what ends up happening is that he comes in like, and this is the one that weirds me out the most, because the guy that comes in with $500, he's like, Miguel, I want to hear I'm in. Let's skip. All right, let me all into this coin. And then when it doesn't work out, they crash out. That's the problem.
Yeah. So if you're going to take that strategy, what you should do, right, is like, I put $500 that, it went to zero. Okay, well, I got another $500 that I just got from, you know, collecting cans or whatever, you know, however you increase the fiat bags. Then boom, okay, I'm going to try again, but let's try, like, if you just keep going all on black, you know, let's say you did 10 of them, you spent $5,000 in crypto, unless you're doing it like absolutely retardedly, which is very, very possible, but very possible. But if you're doing it somewhat with a rhyme and a reason to it, you probably hit on 1 or 2 of them. You probably break even at that point, right? Yeah. Or maybe you make but you're basically doing like parlays to some extent.
And you are the one bonus that we have in the next year, like the most. I mean, I would say, let's skip 5 months. Your DCAs from now to like the end of the year, as long as you're not buying complete horseshit, it's going to be very hard not to win on them, basically. But like there's stuff like Adam and Dot, they just just went up in smoke, right? But this is why, like, we've warned people, like, I've had hexagons, I've had guys that are all in on this other ecosystem or this ecosystem, and I've told them, like, hey, look, we won't shun you away. You're in the Citadel, dog. We love you guys, and like, but like, just know that like this is not what we recommend. But let's try to maximize what we can in the ecosystem. But sometimes if that ecosystem doesn't pump, or there isn't this meme cycle, or there isn't this cool fucking utility coin, like, that's the bed you made. Like, even me, I was Litecoin Moses at one point. Then I was Dogecoin Muhammad. Then I was Litecoin Moses. Then I became dollar cost crypto, and I was Hex Jesus. Right? They're a part of me. I'm in the, I'm fucking this. I've got many personalities, but my portfolio, at no point this cycle did I say I was fucking Hex only, Pulse Chain only, Sonic only. No, I have half my money in, like what I said, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then I made plays in Solana and made plays into Pepe and made plays into these meme coins, and I did very well. I did very, very well with this portfolio. Made money on Sonic, Pulse Chain. We did very well with that one as well. But like the same thing too. The second half was just dog shit. But that's what it is, But it didn't. But those chains doing bad did not sink me, because crypto is a game of attrition. I've said this since 2021. Crypto is a game of attrition. It's about surviving the battle. You may have lost the battle, but you haven't lost the war. You lose the war when you quit and you sell everything. And then you come back in the hype cycle and you get fucked again. That's what happens. I've seen it so many times. I've seen guys that were with us back in 21, didn't show up until 24 or 25.
Yep.
And then just got rolled again. Now, I don't blame a person who comes in 25. That's not their fault. That's just when they got interested. And so that happens. Like, when did I get interested? I got interested in crypto kind of in the middle of 26 and didn't really jump in really until the end of 20. I'm sorry, until I rolled in the middle of 2016. See, that's how old we are. Fuck, we're in crypto a long time. I just literally skipped a decade. We got into crypto. I got interested in crypto and started researching in the middle of 2016, but didn't really start putting real money in until the end of 2016. Luckily, I had that whole nice year of 2017, thank God. But I still ended up fucking it up and like just fucking held my losses. And it took me until 2019 to get all the money back that I lost in 2017. It took me like 2 years of just grinding and putting money away into Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I was putting money into Litecoin at the time. And, you know, I made a very big risky play into Litecoin and it worked out because I did my research. I went to go meet Tom Lee. I went to all the conventions for my coin. I went to do the research and my strategy paid off. It totally could have just backfired on me and just like, man, you know, it could have that, but it worked out. Then I took massive profits and I fucking unschismed myself to maximalism and said, and you know, no longer am Litecoin Moses. I rolled that money into Ethereum and Bitcoin, and that's some of the money that I used to like make a speculative play into Hex. Did I put all my Ethereum into Hex? No. I put a good chunk in, and then from there kept trying to build my portfolio. And then what did I get into at that point? I got into Phantom, and we got into Solana at there, and then we got into some other coins, and we did very well, you know. But every cycle is different, like because in terms of just raw returns, 17 was better than 21. But the beauty of 21 was there were so many winners. Basically, I mean, there were just so many winners. Everything won big, right? Of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum didn't do the same level of returns that we had in 17 because we let's just say depending on where you got in Bitcoin, it could have been $100 to $500. You got into Bitcoin, it went to 20 grand. Ethereum went from like zero, let's call it 50 cents or 25 cents to $1,400. I mean, it's kind of hard to beat that. And like Litecoin went from like 25 cents to $300, $400. I mean,
Cardano did 100x 2 cycles in a row.
Yeah. This cycle didn't even beat its all-time high, but it's okay. I'm not trying to shit on the guy, but like, you know, I mean, he said like, I'm personally down $3 billion in net worth. He said that.
Mm-hmm. He forgot to mention that he's up 10 billion, but hey.
Yeah. He's like, I've got a private jet, my Black Hawk helicopter, and my Lambos with an S. But, you know, he's still here. I mean, I respect it. You have to respect that. I mean, sure, is Cardano a ghost chain? Of course, but you know, a lot of times is like they follow. It's about following the man, and a lot of crypto is faith belief. Is faith, and that is something that like it takes a long time for you being in money to understand. Like it's a red pill you learn in crypto that why things have value is because we give it value.
Yeah.
If for some fucking stupid reason this chapstick, everybody, like let's just say 1 billion people in the world wanted this chapstick, this is so fucking valuable. I mean, I could probably sell this for like $100 million. If 1 billion people wanted this, just for some, like, I don't know why, it just became, they wanted it. This would be so fucking valuable because 1 billion people in this world respect it for some reason. It's just
the same thing with like a sports jersey, right? It's like, some dude wore it and fucking was sweating in it. Like, who gives a fuck, right? But it was the game that, you know, I have all these memories on, and you know, like, you know, of course. But like then when that generation dies, the next generation, unless it was epic, you know, doesn't give a fuck, right?
Now I'm not saying stocks don't matter and businesses, of course, businesses matter, but like we're talking about speculation and we're talking like there is real intrinsic value to crypto. I mean, we actually got when we were on Fresh and Fit, there's always some guy always saying like nothing but Bitcoin matters, or there's even a guy that called in one time that crypto didn't matter at all. And like, what's the value? What's the value? And we kept explaining the value of the technology, but that's not explaining what are you talking about? What is the value? You know, and it's, you know, it's like, all right, how much do you have in gold and silver? Oh, I really don't have much. And then what the fuck are you arguing with us for? Like, you know, and that's what we're trying to say basically. And usually people who have a lot of money, they're not on like, they're not spending time just in chats trolling. They're busy grinding on their business or investing or figuring out or spending time with their family than just being on the internet, like trolling basically, which is true.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Trolls usually live troll-like lives.
Yeah. And this is true too. Like if you're all in one coin and you failed, you got to man up and continue, or an ecosystem. But if it did work out, you would make a fortune. It's true. concentrated liquidity, we're like, here's the problem is that like, if you only have one basket, you better watch that basket very carefully, right? We're in one basket. The basket's cryptocurrency. We're in this ecosystem, very large ecosystem, but we're actually in a segment of investing. Like we're not in equities in this, we're not in gold and silver. Now do we have a little gold and silver? Sure. But like I'm talking about the majority of our net worth is in this sector right here. And that's what we concentrate in. And then, we can make some serious capital. Now, some people choose to be a niche of like, I'm all in on this one ecosystem. Now, one ecosystem that works is if you're all in on Ethereum or Bitcoin, you're going to do really well because those are just, they've been gilded already. They're blue chips, but you make less money. But if all your money's concentrated on that, you can still make really decent returns, right? But some guy that goes all in, like Solana did well. Imagine Solana flopped. The guy went all on Solana. He'd just be mad. He'd just be like, maybe I'll do good next cycle. I mean, at least I'm earning my 7% yield from staking my soul. But or what if Solana just failed and just kept going and they just closed shop? Fuck.
Yeah, which could happen last bear market.
Yeah, it could have happened and stuff. So this is why we say like having the majors is very important, because it gives you a security blanket where you can speculate if you want. And if it's just like you got pissed off this cycle, then just buy Bitcoin Ethereum this cycle. If it really pissed you off, you're like, I just want a guaranteed win. It's guaranteed. There's no guarantees. There's just not, right? Because what if like, I mean, this would be evil, but imagine Bitcoin Ethereum just don't do anything this next cycle. It just doesn't, right? It's extremely unlikely. I mean, very unlikely, but there's always like a 0.1% chance, that it could happen. Yeah. But, it's, this is why, like, if that's what you want to do, that's what you do. It's totally okay. But I personally think, I think Ethereum is going to do very well this next cycle because I see what's happening. Vitalik bringing back the cavalry back. He's like, the top dApps are coming back. Like you've said what we've all thought for a long time, L2s are retarded for the most part, but it was an interesting experiment. I think some innovations were there, but basically some of the best talent on Ethereum just jump ship to make money on these why did people start L2? So they can launch a token to make money, to get their distributions. And then maybe the coin continues on, they can make generational wealth for themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's capitalism. But like crypto is super against capitalism. Like making money is like illegal for some fucking
reason. I think it's changing now that we have TradFi in, right? Yeah. Because you kind of get, I think we're in the Empire Strikes Back portion of the crypto trilogy. We were in Star Wars for the first 15 years, right? Like the New Hope. And okay. Against the central banking, right? Episode 4. Yeah. And then episode 5, right, is where it's like doomer, black pill shit, right? Where it's like Wall Street took over and Luke, I am your father, right? And it's like Larry Fink, no, like that's kind of where we're at right now. And, eventually, be Return of the Jedi, retail will come back, fucking take the crown again and fuck over Wall Street. Yeah. Like it'll come around the corner at some point, right? But now that Wall Street's in the game, I think it's gonna, for a lot of people, the professional people who are in crypto, it's gonna capitalize them. They're either going to capitalize on it or it's going to capitalize on them. If you want to kind of look at it, the wordplay in that way, right? So the idea of, hey, especially, I mean, this is big with Zcash. They recently said, hey, we went away from Zcash to basically make our own wallet because we wanted, and they called it something fucking retarded with Cash Z. But besides that point, forget about that point. That's a side detail. The main point is that they said DAOs used to be more like too communistic, too like, hey, it's for the community, versus no, this is a business. We need to make money to survive. So DAOs are already starting to be like, yeah, we do need to shift more in that way to compete with Wall Street and stuff like that. So you're going to see that shift, but yeah, there's going to be some people, that are diehard old crypto guys that just aren't going to take that on, and they will become dinosaurs, I think.
Yeah. And I've said the one thing we just need, it's okay to have a lot of those idealistic things and stuff, but the thing that we need to, like, what I think the DAO's fucked up on is token holder value, which is like stockholder value. The main thing is we're trying to, I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to have the price of the fucking token go up. or at least tried to like at least have assets under management or assets under the DAO go like increase to show that like, oh, we're still going to be here and we have the relative strength. And I think a lot of these people were like being real communist about it, but like sure love their distributions, right? I mean, that's the shit that cracks me up. Like there's so much like blatant, like there's so much like blatant, like I don't know if it's cope or like it's just straight up grift in a way, but like I just seen I mean, DAOs have been a major failure for the most part because like at the end of the day, like it's just say like just one guy. They're just afraid to say who's king. It's like no, it's the team. But like I'm the guy. Me and Charlie guys running in and stuff like that. We have our underlings. They get a vote and stuff. But like we're calling the shots.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. You need a CEO.
Yeah.
You need a CEO. It's fuck. Like let's stop. Like Vitalik just magically say it's decentralized, and then he fired half the fucking DAO. Who's king? He doesn't say he's king, but he's king. Everyone knows Vitalik is king. Like who runs Pulse Chain and Hex? Richard. Now Satoshi's a special thing, but like there's a certain amount of people at the top of Bitcoin who run Bitcoin. No one runs Bitcoin, bro. Stop living in this fantasy world, you guys. Like it's the same thing with like there isn't a cabal of people who own most of the fucking Zcash supply. Let's just stop with the lie. There isn't this fucking the guys who started Monero don't have a fuck ton of Monero and like push certain developments to go to come on like there's a lot of lies, like you know, but. Anyways,
yeah, I mean we there's a lot of narrative play when it comes to crypto.
Yeah, it's like how I mean, why does Brian Armstrong control so much of the base token supply? Motherfucker, he owns Coinbase. You fucking like he's the CEO.
And he's a billionaire.
He's a billionaire. Like it's like fuck, man. Like this is so like it's okay. That's a financial red pill. It's okay. Like concentration isn't bad. But it's like, of course, who are the players and are they acting in the best interest of the thing? That's the important part, right? Obviously. It's like getting mad at Coinbase for performing badly. And if like, let's just say crypto crashed or like was just dog shit for the next 2 years and like fix it, Brian. Well, the whole industry's down. No, like, what do you want him to fix? He's trying his best, but like, you know.
Yeah, I would say like that's why Cardano is such a good example is because, I mean, Charles did 200 X's 2 cycles in a row. Right from bottom to top on Cardano, that's a massive W, right? Third cycle, you know, what have you done for me lately? Haven't hit new all-time highs. Well, he is, even if you don't like the project, he is doing everything in the coin's best interest. He is like a proper leader in that sense. Now, does he actually create something that people are going to use? And blah blah blah. Probably not, or not really. But he did perform on price performance in terms of the group. What do you call it? I don't know what you want to call it. The group that he got together to some extent in terms of who's invested in it. But, you know, can that be continued forever on a coin with a leader? That's also something that, you know, you have to go through adoption phases because something will get adopted, you know, into early adoption, but it won't get to mass adoption. If it doesn't get to mass adoption, you know, then that thing can either become a niche or it can die, you know, basically. Right.
So there is an attention side of the game. The beautiful thing is that during these crypto winners, only the North survives. Only the true Starks survive. But during these winners, like, you know, most of the competition project, like where's Monad? Where's Mega ETH? There was a rumor that Mega ETH was going to return all the ICO money they collected. Like, you know, like where's all like Cardano's still here, Bitcoin's still here, Solana's still here, Ethereum's still here, Pulse Chain, as much as you want to shit on, it's still there. There's a ton of chains that are like still fighting for their places, and a lot of the bullshit's going to die off. You see the projects, and there is like kind of a longer term strategy where like if you just buy during these bad times, just keep it for a long period of time, you can really win with it. Like I've even said, I'm an XRP hater, truly I am, but maybe I think, you know, if it's cheap enough, I'll buy some XRP, believe it or not. It could run, right? Because there's an appetite for it and they're psyoping the next generation and stuff. And now that Epstein's out or whatever, all the stuff that's going around, like there's less people trying to keep it down. I mean, I personally don't like it, but hey, I mean, am I going to miss the train and not make the money on it? Of course not. Like I'm going to make some money on it. So if it was at $2 when that chick invested $1.5 million or $2 million into it, it's now near $1. If it goes down to 30 cents, all right, I'll use the capital, sell it off, and then buy Ethereum and Bitcoin with it. keep a little moon bag, and then just keep doing this. It's the same thing when I made money on PDI. I don't like this shit. I don't, but like when it's doubt, I don't do this anymore. I don't swing trade that shit anymore. But when you could make some money on it, you know, I like, no one's talking about it. All right, I'll buy some. Damn, it did multiples. Sell it. Thank you. Use it and buy a bunch of pulse X. Swing trade, you know. Same thing. Yeah, same thing with it's like, look who stopped streaming and look who's talking crypto right now. Only the real people. Yep, that's true.
Absolutely.
Now I am paying attention right now who's still talking. So I mean, that's why, like, even though I didn't like what he said about Myron, I do respect the guy. He's still streaming, and like Thread guy's still here. There's still a couple of guys. There's the new crop of guys, right?
Hey, you know, like if that's your strategy for social media growth during down times, like, hey, I'm going to chimp out on a few people to get responses, so that way I can basically, what do you call it, crabs in a bucket up the Twitter ladder. Like, I guess you do you, bro. Like rage baiting does, you know, work for a lot of people. So, you know, I guess it's a strategy. But if it's not a strategy and you're just doing it because you're being retarded, like, come on, like at least do it with a focus.
So Franklin, in terms of the Epstein Bitcoin connection, it's basically like, so Epstein initially, his job was, I mean, as a whatever agent you want to call him, he was to infiltrate the scientific community, and then eventually went to politics, basically. So they were, I mean, for his initial work was like basically trying to push this whole carbon credit thing to say that we are poisoning the earth and the global temperatures increasing on natural terms, not natural terms, but unnatural terms, and basically it was just to allow this financial market to create, just because you can make money on it, right? And then he moved into politicians. Well, because he was in the tech sector for a very long time, he basically infiltrated the Bitcoin group, you know, giving like 13. So far, they found he gave about $13.5 million to early Bitcoin developers. This is post Satoshi. So like as Satoshi was kind of leaving, sunsetting, Charlie tells a story all the time that basically, what was the guy that went to the CIA?
Gavin Andreessen was the number one Bitcoin dev, and then like there was like 5 or 10 people underneath him, and Satoshi basically gave the torch or the baton to Gavin Andreessen. And as soon as Gavin said like, "Hey, I'm going to go give a TED talk to the CIA and FBI," Satoshi was like,
"What?" He was like, "What?" And he was gone.
And my guess is Gavin, right? So okay, there was all those Bitcoin.org boards and everything, right? So the government, and maybe Epstein being the, what do you call it, the intelligence portion of it in terms of like covert stuff, right?
Yeah, infiltrating.
Right. So he's going to do that part eventually, but the government was probably like, hey, first of all, like who in the fuck can tell us what this is and how we can control it, right? It's probably what the first question was. And then they went through all the humans they could figure out, and they found, hey, top dev, not Satoshi, but closest we can get to him. Hey, let's invite him in. It's like, hey, you know, you're being invited in by the Italian mafia. Yeah. You know, like, come on, we won't break your legs if you tell us what Bitcoin does. Come on, bro. Like we're be friendly, right? And so like he comes in and says, hey, I'm going to do this, and warns Satoshi enough, right? Hey, I'm going to go do this. Satoshi disappears. He's like, I literally cryptographically speaking can't confirm or deny who Satoshi is, but you got me. And then, well, what's the next best thing they can try to corrupt? The devs.
And not all of them did, but like, let's just say if I get 3 out of 5 devs did take money. And this is early on. This is like they maybe 2012 started testing the waters, but the money started coming in kind of 13, 14, 15. And, you know, a lot of starting capital to like make companies were, you know, it wasn't just Epstein's money. It was, you know, there was other companies that gave money, but like he was in there. And this is actually corroborated by like, you know, Bitcoin Jesus, which he was like Bitcoin Jesus. Then he became Judas. And then now he was like, you know, you become such a like a, you know, devil that he's back to being an angel again, or at least you know, kind of like an anti-hero in a weird way or whatever, right? And in his book, like, you know, I think it was called Cracking Bitcoin. He basically said something that me and Charlie have been saying for a while that we kind of heard whispers about, because we were around like in 2016 and stuff. We'd heard stuff like from Twitter and like people DMing people with like, how was it like, or what was going on? And a lot of people were saying something changed. You know, something was kind of changing then, that 2013-14 cycle. And basically he spilled it all out. He basically said that, you know, the CIA and all these government agencies took over all the boards, all the top Reddit forums, all the 4chan forums, and then what happened? They infiltrated everything. And then basically the whole thing was like, you're going to give you money. We're going to allow this Bitcoin thing to exist. It will not scale. And this is why there was this whole thing against big blocks. And, Richard Hart got caught in the middle of that too. He was like, fuck, why aren't we upgrading Bitcoin? It's logical. It is. Yeah. Let's just make bigger blocks so we can have faster speeds and, we can can sort of start scaling Bitcoin a little bit. Why doesn't the government want that? Because Bitcoin would have gone mega viral, beyond viral. It could have gone to astronomical price. And then why do we have to use anything else? You can't stop the transactions anymore. It would have been like incredible money. They stopped that, but we'll allow the price to go up a lot. So you get rich. Okay, fuck, I'll take getting rich. And that's what they did. And not us, but that's the deal with the devil they did. And they took it. They took it. And they did co-opt Bitcoin doing that.
Yeah. And then if you look at the next thing, okay, well, Ethereum's going to fill that gap and do all the things that Bitcoin didn't or couldn't or wouldn't, right? Well, you have somebody who's the front of that chain. Okay, well, let's talk to him. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, Vitalik. Oh, same cycle. You Dogecoin guys are trying to make a funny version of Bitcoin. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, what was his name? Palmer, right? Hey.
Yeah, Lucky Palmer.
No, not Lucky. The guy who made Dogecoin.
Oh, Jackson Palmer.
Right. And then knock, knock, knock. Hey, Litecoin, Charlie Lee. You like that? You got that Coinbase stock? You got that Google stock? You want to keep that? Or do you want to go and make this fucking Litecoin thing? Knock, knock, knock. All these devs that, Monero guys were talked to and stuff too. Like, it's like Justin Sun and Tron were the ones that they couldn't get to, but the CCP got to him. So, hey. Every major player got. Even a player that was kind of out of the purview, they got him eventually. I mean, they got, what's his name? BitMEX. Arthur Hayes.
They got to Arthur Hayes. He tried to hold out and they fucking slammed. And these guys are like supposedly pro woke. How dare they go into a black owned business? They got his ass.
Well, and what are they doing to Richard Hart now? Right? They got the Interpol notice on him. Like, friggin', there's unless you disappear and the thing actually like goes viral and gets run properly and stuff. Like, it's the fact that Bitcoin even still exists is still quite a miracle. I would say.
It is a miracle, and it should be a testament to how powerful it is. The best thing that they could have done is like, well, if we can't it's basically stuck in time, but it was like its tech is still so good. Like people, I mean, it still takes 10 minutes to send Bitcoin, but it's like essentially unhackable unless like we get a crazy AI or we get some like general intelligence. It's got to be something insane, like a super computer level. I mean, the next level stuff, but that is probably Bitcoin's only weakness right now versus like Ethereum. Ethereum's working on, quantum resistant tech, where like Bitcoin, I don't believe they are. I think they say they kind of are, but I don't think they're putting the money behind it. But Talik's putting the money behind it.
Yeah, and Solana too. Solana's probably of all three the most ahead of it, and then Ethereum's next, and then Bitcoin's basically like, what are we gonna do about it?
And why it's so important on Ethereum is because Ethereum gets it. They can copy pasta to every L1 and L2 and subsequent, because we'll see what they did. They'll make a bastardized version of it to try to adapt it to other L1s, because everything in DeFi comes from where? Ethereum. Like without Bitcoin, there's no Ethereum, but without Ethereum, there's no crypto. Crypto as we use it today comes almost 96% from Ethereum.
Yep.
The tenets of crypto come from Bitcoin. The immutability, like I send a transaction, you can't stop it. I wish there was more privacy. Yeah. The reason we don't have as much privacy is because that's intentional. That was some of the bastardization they did to Bitcoin. There was supposed to be some privacy on Bitcoin. There was. And then if that privacy was there, we would have had it on Ethereum, but it's intentionally been set like that. And now, and then now if you want privacy, you have to, it's almost like an IQ pill. You have to have it to a certain level. But the thing is, at the same time, if you're trying to do big transactions, there's so much like breadcrumbs. It's like, even like it's a and if you are 100% anonymous, you really can't interact your money in the real world, or you have to do all these workarounds and sell things in cash. Then you're kind of playing in the shadow. It's just like such a clusterfuck. It's such an insanity sort of thing to do. And Roger Ver got by the IRS. That's why we say pay your taxes, you guys. We're just make your money. You guys can live a good life, get a house. You guys all have the opportunity. You guys can have great lives. but it's just get that investor mindset and think for the long term, and accumulate these really good assets, and then eventually, as your wealth accumulates, you can get into equities as well. We're not against equities. Like I will, like Coinbase talk and do. We're going to talk about this in the crypto mindset course. Things I'm looking at on the equity side, they're obviously crypto related because where's our area of competence? It's in crypto, so there's money to be made over there. But this is how we're kind of looking at the game. And then me and Charlie are talking like every day or every other day, kind of going over strategies, and like we're like, I mean, was that binder full of women, but like binder full of like ideas and kind of like strats. Same thing we did back in 22 and 23. We're doing that right now, and we got more people watching us than we did back in 22.
Yep.
Right now. That's incredible. We literally have like a 2x right now of watchers that we had. I mean, I remember a stream I did, like, I think I got 38 people watching me one stream. That was my worst one. That was pretty bad. But I mean, right now we got like 140 people watching. That's a 3x. Not bad. Well, a little more than that, but really nice.
Yeah, it's good to see. I mean, I think we do attract value investors more than we don't, right? Which is the type of audience that I think is really good for the Moongang, because hey, buying when everything is cheap below fundamental value, right, is usually when most people do not want to buy. But the Moongang's like, ooh, baby, this is good cheap prices on different things. I gotta scoop this up. But it's just like we said, like there's a strategy to it, there's a rhyme to the reason, like there's a risk management play to it. It's not like just throw your money everywhere and you're gonna be good. Like, no, focus on quality.
These next 2 courses are going to be the big value courses, because it's like, man,
that's where you create. I mean, like it's like once every 4 years, there's like 1 or 2 or 3 courses where we pretty much make the people who are kind of building a base for the next cycle, and they're the biggest winners, even if they mess it up compared to everybody else in the cycle. So that's this year.
Yeah, and then a lot of other crypto YouTubers are getting into gambling, or like, I mean, like, even though I look at Polymarket, we're having fun. There's a difference between like, I'll do a fun little bet for fun versus like, hey, you guys, like
the whole portfolio on this, baby. Let's go. Let it ride. Let it ride.
Let it ride. 17 black. That's such a meme because it's so true. I've seen so many guys in the casino actually like all in on 17. Like I almost didn't understand it until like GG, because I didn't play roulette until GG explained it to me. But like, I mean, 17 is a money number, but it's the reason people bet it's because it's the middle number in the whole, 36 or whatever numbers, depending on the zeros. And most people bet black for some reason, because I think it's been shown in movies the most is like, we're going all in, you guys, all in on black. And that's just because,
nobody ever says all in on red. Like
red. Yeah.
It just doesn't know the same.
In crypto Twitter, you have a bunch of depressed people that like leverage traded, or their volume's going down, or they're not getting much money anymore from projects to shill things. There's a lot. I mean, it's the mental health gets pretty bad, like, and so they're more negative. So people start shit posting, or I see like the OGs have been around 2 cycles or more that they're playing, like they're much more mature about it. But the guys who like it was 1 cycle or a cycle and a half, and they're just shit posting and just making their users feel bad. That's why like Ben Cohen got a lot of kind of backlash for being so evil and negative to people during the downturn. The I told you so people got a lot of people pissed off and rolled them out of crypto, and I think they did more damage. Like they were like, yeah, I get a little attention, but they damaged a lot of people to get out of the industry, which I don't think that's good. But I think he calmed it down now, which is nice. But okay, got you. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, basically 28's, yeah. 1 + 7 is 8, basically a money number. Basically all in on black and green hits. That's why you always bet zeros, dog. You always bet the zeros. So we'll answer some super chats right now in a minute. So we got Christian here with the $2 super chat. Should I hold my bags until the next bull run? I mean, if you haven't sold or taken profits, I mean, yes, but it depends. I don't know what your bags are, but I mean, yeah, 29 would be the next top in the 4-year cycle. So yeah, that's when you would want to take some profits, obviously, but I just don't know what your bag consists of, basically. So hopefully it consists of Bitcoin and Ethereum and some good plays. We try to, we're multi-coiners here and coin agnostic. We do have our favorite. I do have favorite coins, but like, I just hope your portfolio is at least half Bitcoin, Ethereum, especially going into like what the buying zone we're going in right now.
Yeah. The way that I look at it is like, what can I just hold till the top of next cycle, right? It's like, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, you can do that. And like worst case scenario, you're a break even, right? Like Solana doesn't hit a new all-time high, but it did what Ethereum did this cycle or something, right? But generally speaking, you can buy those three, close your eyes, not worry about it, right? That's your long-term savings. But anything that's not those three, like anything, you're just basically running the risk of it going to zero. And that was the risk of Bitcoin in the early days. That was the risk of Ethereum in the early days. That was the risk of Solana last bear cycle. If you're willing to take that risk, take it, but take it with a, smaller portion of the portfolio is what I would say. So like, generally speaking, no, you can't just hold everything and hope for the best. Unless it's like, the proven ones.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go to the next one. Oh boy. This one's a shout to Flocka with a $10 super chat. DCC, Charlie, I need help. So my dad has a house that's paid off under my bro's name. Okay. He's trying to put it under my name so we can pull money out of it. What's the best? Okay. I legit, but like, whew, okay. What's the best way to do it? To name change without having to pay taxes. Okay. So not financial advice. You have to understand, me and Charlie are a crypto channel. We're not a real estate channel, but you'd have to, this is where I would tell you to go consult Ben Malla. You can book a call with Ben Malla. He does real estate. He answers questions like this. Don't fuck around with this because I don't want you can get a big tax bill. Huge tax bill because it's paid off. It can get rejiggered and then you're going to get smacked. Your property taxes are going to go up. It's a big deal. I'm guessing he's going to tell you to probably put into a trust and then you can do things with that basically. Because I mean, someone like Waller or someone like people, they're not holding their properties under their name. They control them, but they're under trusts and you can get them refinanced. But remember, refinancing, it's a weird thing where like you could do it now. If you just need you're basically gonna do a cash out refi. Basically, is what you're gonna do, which is basically you're gonna re-put a mortgage on the property, and because it's paid off, you can actually get a ton of it out, basically, or an equity line of credit. Exactly. So there's multiple. That's where I would consult. I would probably tell you to go with Ben Malla. He's gonna give you the most. He's not gonna. I think he's going to give you some good advice, but I would try to like hit up some other channels as well. But like, I think Ben Malla has like more accessible ones where you can actually get a consultation with him. Like, don't fuck around on that. Like, I don't want to lead you astray on that. Okay. But there's many strategies. It's like talking about this is like talking. The only one that I know that's more divisive is when people talk about fucking health insurance strategies. Oh my fucking God.
That's a
whole life versus term life versus this fucking like paid in like
oh my God. All insurance is a scam, so it's like
yeah, there is strategies to it, but you have to be smart about it. You have to be smarter. There, like I don't think insurance is that like there's insurances like I was talking to somebody and about this, but like there's insurances you can do where like you have money built up over time and you can borrow from your insurance. So like the lady that runs the IV clinic that I go to, pretty smart. She makes good money, and anytime she needs money for a big trade, she takes like $80,000 out of her life insurance policy. She invests that, she makes multiples on that, and then she's like, on $80,000, I pay about $1,800 a month until I paid it back. But that $80,000 is useful for me. I pay basically the insurance company only charges me 0.5% of interest. What they make, the other interest I pay goes back into my policy. And he's like, it's really useful for me. I've been able to use it, and it's nice. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, I've done really well with that because like the last investment I did, I took 80,000 out and I threw it into what is that fucking company? Palantir. And she's like, I made some really good money. That was a very good investment for me. So she's but that's what it is. And I have to now I have an $1,800 payment on myself. So that's actually kind of cool. This is where we start getting into more advanced planning and estate planning and stuff like that. And insurance is just such a headache because there's so many grifters and there's so many people because people are trying to sell you into commissions. I mean, that's the truth. But how many there's been a couple of people. This is not a call out on anyone specifically because this happens to everybody. It doesn't matter what race. I've heard this happen to white, black, Asian, Mexican, everything. A family member dies and it's a fucking $50,000 fucking basically funeral, and we don't have it. oh shit, you know, and then that's what the GoFundMe. This is where like it's nice to have life insurance, right? And or at least like and like there's kind of like cheaper life insurance where like when they die you only get 100 grand, but that's to cover like you don't got to worry because I imagine having to worry like you should be like worrying about like fuck I lost my mom, my dad. I mean, please no, but like knock on wood, but like you lose someone special in your life and then you're more funeral costs are insane. And but the same thing too, who thinks imagine like a brother dies and like you never think your brother would die, like imagine or I die, like whoa dude, I mean that's crazy. It's sad and it's always uncomfortable to do it because no one wants to think about mortality,
especially the patriarch of the family, right? Like if that happens it really can mess up people financially, emotionally, you know, depending on when in people's lives it happens. Like there's a lot of stuff from that can just like really swing people for a loop. So yeah.
This is the other part too. The commission is, this is the truth too. The commission is huge. They will lie to get that check. They will. It's like a real estate agent. It's always the best time to buy, Charlie. It's true. I mean,
well, insurance is, I mean, these, like, what do you call it? One of the tricks that they've done recently is apparently like if your shingles on your roof or whatever, like have even just minimal damage, they can claim that it's hail or something. Then like they basically have to, what do you call it? Like they can do this now from satellite imagery and drone imagery. Like if you're like, hey, I don't want you to come and like do checks in my house. Okay, then they're just gonna fly a drone or check Google Images or whatever and see. Okay, yeah, they got some stuff fucked up on there. Okay, you got to redo in your insurance, otherwise we're not insuring you anymore. I mean, they did it in California a lot with like. This has been going on with fire insurance in California for a very long time. They're like, we're not even going to insure you guys because you know you're at such high risk and stuff like that. So they find ways to call you risky so that basically they could take more of your money, which is fucking evil to some extent. Like there's like a line that they've crossed, I think, over the last 20 years. It's like,
it's gotten ridiculous. And then using AI, it's something to make them more like. They're insuring the people that basically don't need the insurance, but in terms of the life, I think everyone should have at least let me get some term life insurance for 30 years or 20 years right now while it's cheap. It might even be $50 a month, just as an insurance policy. I mean, I think that's not terrible. Imagine you get what you want on you and your wife and maybe your kid. I don't even like. I'm currently looking into it right now because I have a family, and like, what if something happens to me? I don't plan to die anytime soon. That's for fucking sure. But like, this is like stuff you got to, and there's also things called turnkey insurance as well, where like, if you're like, you're part of the business and stuff and you die, it can hurt the business. And there's insurance for businesses as well. There's like all types of things like that, but it's pretty expensive, of course. Right. But, that's the kind of some of the planning you do, but people do this planning but I would say everyone should at least have like, if something happens to me, 100 grand, 200 grand, it's tax-free. And now at least your family is like the funeral's covered and they have a little extra money to kind of figure out the next plan,
Yeah. And then also you got inheritance tax.
Yeah. There's inheritance and all that other stuff, but yeah, I'll get you I'll get you this channel right here. Let me just, so here you go, just for you, man. Go check this guy out right here. He's a great real estate guy, and you can book a consultation with him. He's a good dude. He's out of Florida, pretty based. I think he's actually been on Fresh and Fit actually too as well. He's the biggest Jew you'd ever, New York Jew guy, but he's a great guy. But consult with someone that does real estate 100%. We don't want to fuck your whole situation up there, man. There you go. Chef Tito, man. Okay, $5 super chat. Is Cardano going to stay until the next 4 or 5 year cycle? Do you recommend continuing buying dips?
That's a $1 million question right there, right? And I looked on Friday at Cardano specifically, and I think it has enough, leeway with its price from its high of this cycle that whales in that ecosystem should be able to hold it above its all-time lows, which is really all that's necessary for it to try to have another run, right? That being said, that would probably be a higher low or match last cycle's high, or maybe a little higher, but maybe not a new all-time high. Maybe that might be difficult to do next cycle. There's a million questions with that, right? I do think it won't. personally, I think it won't die. It hasn't died yet, but it could. What I think, if Cardano were to die, it would happen over the next 2 cycles. So you get one cycle where it's just absolutely trash, which would be the next one. Possibly it holds its lows, but then it doesn't really do much on the upside. And then the next bear market, it goes below its previous lows, and then it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So that's possible for sure over multiple cycles. But because it's been around so long, it'll take 2 or 3 more cycles before it would absolutely die. So what I would recommend with it essentially is, instead of buying and holding it like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, because it's not of that tier, it could have been, but why isn't it? Well, because nobody's using it. People who chose Solana over Cardano, absolutely, right? So in terms of what they're actually using. So it's better to trade Cardano. It's like, hey, I'm going to take this wallet that I only use for Cardano. I'm going to sell it into USDC when there's an advantageous time to do so. I'm going to buy that really, really low price, when the lows come in for Bitcoin. And maybe that's, a 90% dip from its high that it had this cycle. Whatever, I don't care, because, I'm just basically trading it around. Cool. You can cultivate Cardano, stack Cardano that way. And if it survives, then great. You have a lot of coin at cheap prices. It'll go up. If it doesn't survive, then you've traded around and paid attention so much that you've already stacked money on money that when you do pull the plug, you haven't lost. So that's kind of the way to do that. But you have to be really dialed in to be able to do that. Otherwise, focus on the main 3, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And then once we get into the early part of next cycle, then worry about Cardano and maybe roll profits from the other 3 into those. So a few ways to do it.
Definitely. So another one from Chef Tito. Is ILV dead or pick up stronger in the next 4 or 5? There's more chance this one's dead, but yeah. I mean, the thing is it didn't get a fair shakeout. It is basically the best in class in terms of game, in terms of there is AAA in the real world and there's AAA in crypto. So it's top of the class in crypto. Is that saying a lot? Not really. But it is, because most crypto games are like 2D side scrollers, or they're not great. So it is like a fully the world's beautiful, looks cool, but there's all the crypto aspects to it. The founder's still there. They haven't abandoned it. He's like fully all in on his project. I like that.
Yeah. But, and if you were going to be as bearish as possible about that aspect in particular, it'd be like, he's just staying around so he doesn't get thrown in jail, or get gone after, right? Like that. I mean, I'm not saying that's
yeah. But
I'm not, but it's a possibility, right? So if you're going to go glass half empty, you have to think that side. If you go glass half full, you have to think the side Miguel just said there. And you have to think both sides. Like, you can't be like, oh, I'm bullish on this, so I'm not going to think about that negative aspect, or I'm negative on this, I'm not going to think about the bullish aspect. No, you have to think about both and then come to a good conclusion from that. But, play out the game theory a little bit on it.
Right. The thing with the Illuvium is, if we continue to crash, let's just say we go down to 52,000 or 48,000, and then that's the low, right? Illuvium will probably go down to $2 to $1.80, $1.50. It's at right now, currently, it's at a $39 million market cap. It'll go down to $18 million or lower. That's when you're like, all right, I'll do a little pop bet. Maybe it'll come back, but that's it. You don't buy more. I mean, this is as risky as risk if you give a fuck about Illuvium. If you don't, move on. Move the fuck on. But I always personally, I've learned this lesson. I sold my Illuvium. I kept the moon bag, which was 30% of my original stack. I kept it, and I moved all that to Ethereum. And a little piece of the soul.
Stuff we basically got for free from
yield.
Holding it from yield. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And if you were anyone that was listening back in 21 and you staked Illuvium, unstake your shit now, because it's dirt cheap to do it on Ethereum right now. I have a feeling in 27, 28, the cost to unstake is going to go up.
Well, yeah, because Vitalik's pushing away the L2s a little bit and trying to kind of consolidate some of the L1s towards Ethereum. So the concentration to that highway again will definitely increase fees.
Definitely. Dr. Pegger, god damn it. With the €5, took a heavy loan out, threw it all into PulseX. If I die, I die.
Nice.
Oh, you're funny, dude. All jokes aside, I appreciate you boys. Best in the game to do it. Hey, thank you so much, man. Fucking, that took me out. If I die, I die. That's why, hey, I mean, this is a man taking responsibility. If he's being degenerate, he's like, hey, I took a loan out. Fuck it. Let's see what happens. This ball. If it hits, ooh, I'll hit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
I mean, I kind of took that approach to Pulse like this cycle. You know, hey, I got in it when I got in it. If it goes up, it goes up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know.
Yeah. Wheel Ken with the $5 super chat. Just in case I missed it already, thoughts on ProveX launching early as it did instead of launching on the 28-29 during the next market run up. Yeah, so basically, they're Richard's basically testing out. He's basically soft launched the website, not the token yet, and basically he's doing this to test the bugs out. It's kind of cool, and he's like, hey, if you find any problems or like glitches, I don't know what, but apparently you can leave like a little note here, a support ticket to tell us what's wrong with it. So he's beta testing it. That's cool. So like, hey, he's actually doing it. This is good. This is good. So like, Richard's never not launched a project, so he's launching it. Obviously, look, he's market timing. You have to like, I mean, let's launch PulseX and the fucking Bitcoin crashes at 30 grand. Well, all that momentum's cooked. So, when you do a sacrifice, think about it like you do a VC project. It's going to take anywhere from a year to 2 years for it to launch, and if it was a real VC project, it's 2 to 3 years usually, because what happens is it takes 2 years for it to come out. It comes out, then it takes a year for your tokens to vest. And then you can like, that's why timing on a lot of like on that side, on the venture side is like that's why most of them go to zero. It's 99% down. Sometimes you get lucky and that lucky one pays for all the bullshit you put in money into. But like most of these kind of like projects they're risky as fuck. Now, the track record with Richard is good because it's launched and it did pump to a nice price, but like, it just, the history was bad, but like, I almost give a little bit of extra. Now, this is not like forgiveness or nothing, but this, this cycle has not been great. It hasn't. So I give like, there's like, you have to give a little bit of like, okay, a little bit of a handicap to like this cycle, but also Richard wasn't fucking streaming or anything. So that's also his retarded. I mean, that's retarded that he didn't do that, but he was on the run for most of it until like middle of 24. And then he probably could have been streaming and he didn't. So I got no forgiveness on that side on that. Like he could just record in a dark room, ooga booga, hey, but this like, and then release one stream a month or could do that.
What it comes down to is he didn't control everything he could control. He only took the reins of some of it.
Yeah. So yeah.
I think there was one.
But on this ProveX, I think it's going to pump the ecosystem. Every time there's a coin launch, it pumps it. So like this is good, and we're seeing a little green on PulseX, but this is nice. So it's like yeah, it's good to see this. Like now, so there's going to be a pump. Now he decided to do this versus that. So that means probably instead of being like 2 pump narrative, it's probably 1 pump narrative. So once the token launches, that's good, and then probably like another little minier pump on when the site gets all its functionality. But it looks cool. I mean. But obviously, if you're going to interact with it, people said, hey, if I used it to buy crypto or buy anything with the ProveX website, use a condom wallet. That means it's a virgin wallet you'd never used before. The thing is, if it asks you for bank information, just be aware of them. That's dangerous, right? If you do, then once you buy the crypto and it gets deposited into your wallet or whatever, you send that money to a different wallet. So it's like you move from here to there. Why would you do that? Because the wallet where you sent the coins to has never interacted with any smart contract or anything. And that means it is extremely unlikely those coins can get rugged by being stolen. Now, can they be rugged because the price goes to zero? Yes. There's many ruggings, but you're at least protecting yourself from the most vulnerable side of it, which is like contract risk. Okay? And then when you decide to trade, let's just say ProveX coin or whatever, you then move it to a trading wallet to then do your stuff, and then guess what? You move the coins back. And we explain this in excruciating detail in the crypto mindset course. And this is what's helped our students have the least occurrence of hacks. Hacks will always happen. Usually 99% of the time it's because of human error, but at least we've been able to take the technical side and lower that down to an extremely low rate, as well as like we tell people like we make funny stories about like how this guy, like, isn't it crazy? This Indian guy's calling me. He's like telling me for like, I need to text him this password on my phone. Should I give it to him? No.
The cheats got him, bro. No.
Me and Charlie also have like a thing that we like. if like usually if we're just bullshitting, like Charlie, where the fuck you at, dog? Hey, I'm over here. You know that's pretty normal. But like if we're like, hey Charlie, can you send me $10,000 in Ethereum? Can you send me like 10 ETH real quick, dude? You're like, what? What do you mean? Why? Like, and and then
you got the gun to your back, DCC. No.
Yeah. So like it's smart. Like
I need you to I need what do you call it? Like a proof of life confirmation first.
Yeah, and this is what we kind of say is like, okay, me and Charlie are in the crypto industry, so we involve in crypto, so it makes sense, right? But here's the problem: is that what if somebody like AI is so good now that like we're on camera all the time, AI can copy our voices. Imagine. So then this is why we have to trust and verify. Okay, how about Charlie? I'll send you the money. Let me just see you in person. Okay, and then let's do that. That's one way. Another way is like, we've set parameters in private for this not to happen to us, basically, right? But most people are not in crypto. The only person they do crypto with is themselves, so they could fall for like really dumb stuff like that, or like human error, or like trickery and stuff like this. It's just you have to be careful.
Yeah.
So we'll have all the ways to keep yourself safe inside the crypto mindset course and the safety webinar, and it's really important webinar. Like just like the risk webinar. Like this is like the other side is the actual like tactile use, like actually using this stuff. And like people ask like what's cold, like use Trezor as a cold storage device, not Ledger. There you go. Let's see, where is it?
Two more super chats.
So Saza, I lost 70% of not paying attention. I want to trade the 60-day cycles. I have 1K to play with. I want to get some of my money back, and then a monthly. So the monthly DCA, that's smart to do. That's good. But let's see.
Let's make one assumption, because I'm not sure here, right? But looking by the amounts, let's assume that it was $10,000, right? And it's down to $3,000, and you have 1K to play with, and monthly one more K to add. Like, if that's the case, like that's not too bad. Maybe it's like 30,000 that went down 70%, then it's 10K, right? And or a little bit less, and then you have a couple K to play with, like here and there. Like, yeah, either way that is, you're within the route, within spitting distance of getting it back. So it is a, what do you call it, tortoise and the hare type thing, where you want to be more the tortoise. And so the 60-day cycle trades, let's say you were like, okay, I want to do $500 or a K on that. Cool. Right. I would say, pay high attention to, when I mentioned that on my show, I would say take the bet with either Ethereum or Solana, because they're going to have a little bit more volatility than Bitcoin. Solana is the best in my opinion, but then you have to sell them, once you're in pretty good profit in the 60-day cycle, right? Whether that's 20% up, 30% up, 40% up, 50% up, whatever it is, you got to take it when it's there, let it drop back. Then when you do, like the essential stream, or the essential strategy there is like, you're kind of doing a slinky play where you're assuming most of the 60-day cycles are going to be left translated. So you're taking your profits between day 10 to day 23 of the 60-day cycle most of the time. And then basically you wait about 1 month, and then you look for another cycle low, and then you do it again and again and again. And then I would make those DCAs dynamic, where you're DCAing a certain amount of that 1,000, maybe 300 of it, 400 of it per month, like 100 a week, right? But then the other 600, you're putting that in to something you want to hold when you're closer to the bottom of a 60-day cycle. So you kind of do a dynamic DCA with that. So that's what I would generally recommend with that. But obviously, get into the crypto mindset course if you haven't been, or at least the Citadel, to try to refine that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a very complex question and stuff, but there's a time when like you're doing you have this initial strategy to kind of like swing trade the 60-day cycle, but then at some point, let's say you're up on Solana, you'll have to choose, like, am I going to sell it all back into cash, or do I just keep the Solana profit and then get my $1,000 back cultivating Solana? And then that's it. At the end, at some point, you got to stop and just put it all in, because the price is so low. And this is where the Citadel comes in, because it keeps you consistent. And this is where these next Crypt2 courses, this year are fucking the most vital ones. They're usually, because the price is down, they're less subscribed, but the guys who go to them are the ones that always make all the money because we're playing. This is like, believe it or not, this is the easy part of the cycle. Fuck. But it's true. This is the easiest time to make the profits. We just got to wait as the prices come down. There's going to be pumps in the middle too. It's going to be nice. You can actually like sell a little bit of coins to take some on coins you haven't sold. It might ramp back up. Like Solana just shoots up. You can take a little off the Solana bag. I got the cash and you can use that to rebuy back lower on Solana. Now you have more Solana. You're cultivating Solana now. Look at that, cultivating crypto. I wonder whose channel is that. But yeah, thank you, man. All right, let's go to this final two. Chef Tito, is EHEX and PHEX dead? Should we buy more on dips? If Pulse Chain doesn't die, I mean, the only thing that would fucking really nuke him would be like Richard gets arrested. Fuck, dog. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the known unknown, right? But obviously concentrate on the ones. Obviously, PHEX is holding up pretty good. EHEX is falling, but that's because Ethereum's falling. Liquidity pools is dragging it down. So I think I like buying both, but probably I would focus on like 70% PHEX, 30% EHEX. I think that's a good ratio because EHEX is so much cheaper. You're almost buying the same amount. Jigger that around and you're like, oh yeah, if I bought $1 million of this one, I can buy $1 million of this one. And that's the ratio you should buy. That way you have a little taste of both because like when Ethereum moves up, EHEX usually has an explosive move up, and then PHEX will move as well. So like that's the way I would do it. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it's very correlated with Ethereum too. Like, when Ethereum's on a bigger discount than usual, right? That's a good time then to consider that.
Let's see. With a $10 super chat, Elf here. Hey Charlie Miguel, I'm making 100K a year now. Yeah, I'm stacking my bread, waiting for the bear market. How much time? Well, the bear market's here. It's coming. It's now. But like we're waiting for the right part, right? How much time do we have, or how low do we go in the bear market for Bitcoin? I need that entire Bitcoin.
So my maximum timing wise that we would have to go down would be until about sometime in early Q1 of next year. But that would be a deviation from the 4-year cycle in that it would be a little bit longer. It'd take longer to hit the lows. So what I said on my show is the price lows that I expect Bitcoin to be is absolute worst is 31,000 or 30,000. Absolute best going down to only like 50K. So it's going to be between 30 to 50K where we hit the low in terms of price. And then in terms of time, if you want the widest band, August of this year to January of next year, but knowing that it's most likely going to be October is the middle ground, right? So what do you call it? If we go down to like below 40K, but it's earlier in the earlier part of that time band, go hard. If we're in the later part of that time band and we still haven't dipped that much, you could still wait a little bit. But the sweet spot is like September, October, November. That 3-month period right there is going to be where you would usually expect it. And so if you're getting both the time, which is October, and you're getting the price, which is under, let's say, $45,000 Bitcoin, if those two parameters hit together, great. The other thing I've mentioned on my stream is if you go into what's it called? BitcoinMagazinePro.com and go to the charts. There's the realized price and balanced price sandwich that I've talked about on, I think, on the previous Moongang as well as on some of my shows this week. If you're not sure what that is, get into the Citadel, get in the chorus, ask a question about it. We'll be talking about that a lot. Super simple strategy. I'm not sure if a lot of people catch that when I mention it. Some people kind of might misinterpret it, but we'll go to the details of that. Let's get
last, yeah, I know. Last super chat, you guys. So for $2 right here, 1 month, 1K DCA is for the low. My 1K is to trade. Okay, got it. The only thing I tell you, man, is work on your income, obviously, and of course, if that's all you can do, I'm not.
Well, the other thing I wanted to say on that too, with that there is like, there's not always going to be a trade. Right? There's always going to be a DCA, but there's not always going to be a trade. So if there's not a trade, then just bank that extra 1K into your cash USDC, USDT reserves, and then pile it up until you need to use that dry powder. So you don't have to use everything always.
Yeah, and we're going to give guidance to people in the Citadel. If we believe the low's in, we're going to tell our guys in the courses and the cash and the crash out courses, the cash out courses, and we're going to help the Citadel out as well. Because a lot of times when it happens, we're in the draft, we're like, oh shit, it's go time. Boom, boom,
Yep.
boom, boom,
And
boom.
almost all of March this year, which it's going to be a critical time either for altcoin accumulation before we go up a little bit more, or another low period for Bitcoin where, it's really important to kind of know what's going to be surviving, what's going to die, and what's going to do well on the next move and stuff like that. So either way, we're going to be off of YouTube for that month. So you're definitely going to want to get in. So that way, if you're left high and dry here for a few months in the bear market, it can get kind of disorientating. So we do it for free as much as we can on YouTube, but at the same time, we gotta make sure that we continue running the channel for you guys.
Correct. Perfect, man. I think this is a great one. This is a great post Super Bowl show, man. My next stream will be, I believe, on Tuesday. I think yours is on Tuesday as well, right?
Yep, Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. On Tuesday, I'll be going over kind of like the new weekly candle, how we're looking for swings, especially that Solana swing that I'm really recommending going into the next crypto mindset course that I just mentioned briefly earlier tonight here. And I've mentioned over my previous streams. If you want to go understand what that is, go watch my Friday and Thursday stream. Is timestamped when I talk about Solana, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. But yeah, and then I didn't mention it tonight, but on Tuesday, I promise, I just have to accumulate all the topics you guys had recommended. But last week on Moongang and during one of the shows during the week, you guys hit over 200 likes on those streams. So I'm going to compile all the requested topics for streams you guys did, throw them into the Citadel and the crypto mindset course to be voted on. And then on Tuesday, we're going to vote live on my show. It'll be Thursday this week. We'll have a stream that you guys have requested, and then I'll do another one on Thursday the week after based on the votes for that. So there we go.
And my show on Tuesday is going to be a very special one, the art of the DCA. So I'm going to go into how to accumulate a goal. So it's going to be a lot about the goal side of I'm trying to one thing that I talked about in the Citadel. I had a late night call the other day with the guys, and it was a real inspirational one about getting the goals straightened up about try to get 10 Ethereum, the stretch goals, and how to DCA, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time. So it's going to be about like a Bitcoin. And I understand having a full Bitcoin might be unrealistic for somebody right now in their current situation, but 1%'s not that crazy. 2%, it's you can build that. You can, and I think a lot of people still haven't realized, you can buy fractional pieces because you're used to buying a full Solana. You kind of forget sometimes you don't have to buy, a full coin all the time. You can buy partial coins. You can buy a small amount of Ethereum. Ethereum's oh my God, Ethereum's so expensive. It's a lot of money from you, man. But $2,000, it's only $200 for 10% of an ETH. When the Ethereum price goes up, that starts becoming a lot of money. I remember when we were buying $100 Ethereum and it ran to 2,000. I was these $5 casino chips are now these real heavy duty ones, man. But with that, man, thank you so much for joining you guys, man. We'll see you guys on Tuesday, man. Peace.